lower your heating and cooling bills, and give you an airtight seal with their foam insulation. It's all done from the exterior of your home without any hassle or mess. Retrofoam offers a lifetime no-cost warranty with a property protection guarantee. They take pride in their customer service, treating all customers like family. Get 0% financing for 5 years if you call and mention WTMJ. Call today at 262-234-FOAM. That's 262-234-FOAM.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At noon, it's 37 degrees, mostly cloudy today on our way to a high of 40. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, low down to 35. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Vince Vitrano. 10 Wisconsin Republicans admit they were part of an effort to overturn President Joe Biden's 2020 election win by acting as fake electors. The statement, part of a settlement in a civil case that had been filed against them. The group originally claimed no ill intent, but rather that they had submitted a, quote, alternate slate of electors in the event that legal cases turned in then President Trump's favor. Under the settlement, the 10 agree to not serve as presidential electors in 2024, nor in any other election where former President Trump is on the ballot. In Washington, this story breaking this morning, former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he only has weeks left on the job after becoming the first ever speaker voted out of that office. More from ABC's Justin Finch.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy plans to wrap up his congressional career at the end of this month. The California Republican breaking the news in a Wall Street Journal op-ed Wednesday, saying the work is only getting started on his next chapter. A majority of Congress members voted to oust McCarthy from the speakership 2 months ago. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Also on Capitol Hill, FBI Director Christopher Wray doubling down on his warnings about the terror threat level in this country, in particular as tensions rise in the Middle East.
We've seen, as I think I testified to, a veritable rogues gallery of foreign terrorist organizations, all calling for attacks in a way that we haven't seen in quite some time.
Back here, a Milwaukee police officer gravely injured in an off-duty car crash over the weekend will have his organs donated to help others. MPD officer Jimmy Nowak's car collided with a semi in Oak Creek on Sunday night. Family members telling us fallen MPD officer Peter Jerving had been his partner for 4 years.
They were best friends and not only partners for 4 years, all around. A good guy, a good police officer, a good friend, a good family member, a good husband.
Now, other lives will be saved thanks to Officer Nowak.
My heart's in a million little pieces.
Julia Nowak posting on YouTube about her husband.
A lot of people are hurting right now, and I'm really hurting.
Nowak's partner was Officer Peter Jerving, who was shot and killed in the line of duty earlier this year. The news this week is a punch to the gut for the men and women of MPD.
It's a brotherhood and sisterhood. They get through it together. There's strength in that togetherness.
Germantown Police Chaplain Greg Young tells WTMJ Now that knowing Nowak's organs will be donated can help the healing process.
Knowing that other lives are living because of his.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
GoFundMe page is set up for the Nowak family. You can find it at WTMJ.com and on the WTMJ mobile app. Time for news about your money. WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up about 24 points. Right now it's at 36,149. The S&P 500 at 4563. That is down just less than 4 points. And the NASDAQ at 14,216. That is off 13 points. It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/taxsmart. Sports, traffic, weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:04.
Your wealth, your legacy, your taxes. Without a doubt, they've changed from where you started. Is your old financial plan keeping up? It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Strategy Review. It's the best place to start with Annex. No high-pressure sales. No advice that's not in your best interest. Zero commissions. We're not just looking for the lowest taxes today. We look through retirement and determine the best tax path for you and your family. Get an Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Strategy Review. Visit annexwealth.com/taxsmart.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Now, my knee injury was a lagging problem, and I'm grateful every day for the surgery that put me back in the game thanks to OAW. But if you or one of the young athletes maybe in your house needs orthopedic care right away, you don't have to go to the emergency room. The Ortho ASAP Clinic has hours Monday through Saturday in Pewaukee and Monday through Friday in Brookfield. Walk right in. Now you're in the hands of the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Visit them at orthowisconsin.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update.
The Milwaukee Bucks are officially headed to the Sin City after beating the New York Knicks in the NBA's in-season tournament quarterfinals on Tuesday night. This one by a final score of 146-122.
Middleton lobs up to Giannis, who sends it down with a two-hand jam on another alley-oop. Oh, the rim's going to feel that one tomorrow.
With the win, the Bucks now advancing to the semifinals of the in-season tournament. They will travel to Vegas to take on the Indiana Pacers on Thursday. Tip-off is set for 4 p.m. Over to college hoops, where it's now 6 straight wins for the Wisconsin Badgers as they go on to beat Michigan State on Tuesday night by a final of 70-57 to improve to 7-2 on their season. Next up for the 23-ranked Badgers is a date with the number 1 team in the country, the Arizona Wildcats, on Saturday afternoon. And lastly, the Marquette Golden Eagles will look to bounce back after their loss to Wisconsin last weekend. The 8th-ranked Golden Eagles will play host to 12th-ranked Texas tonight at Pfizer Forum. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Time for a look at the roads here with the Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Report. No major incidents on the system right now. Things a little bit slow. Capitol Drive into downtown on I-43 through the construction zone. That's about a 6-minute drive.
Traffic is sponsored by Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Design Exchange is where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Mostly cloudy today in your Storm Team forecast with a high of 40 degrees. Low down to 35 tonight. Quiet weather for the next couple of days and warming up. Mostly sunny on Thursday, high of 50. Friday's high 54 under mostly sunny skies. And then we bring in a chance for a weather system here over the weekend. Saturday, a chance of showers, mostly cloudy, high of 47. Sunday looking like a rain-snow mix with milder temperatures, high of 38. Right now in Madison, 35. Green Bay also at 35. It's 36 in Waukesha, and in Milwaukee, 37 degrees. I'm Vince Vitrano, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at The Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Come join the conversation on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome to the show. The Department of Justice is open. You know,
it's been a minute since we heard that.
We're bringing that back, absolutely. For the last 8 shows, you know, I never really wanted to stop doing it, but a program director said, well, you talk about more than just that. You're narrowing yourself. I said, no, people like that. And so the Department of Justice is open. So Vince Vitrano.
Good, you do what you want.
Exactly.
I'll do what I want here.
Well, right. It's and this was a program director a long time ago. So it's, you know, it's exactly, you know, welcome, my friends, to the show that is soon to end. 8 more shows. Okay, so Vince, here's like a little insight into me. Do you ever have, my late wife, Sue, when I would get on her nerves, which would be frequently, and this shows like how times have changed, but she'd always say, take $20, go out to Target. I could wander through Target with $20 buying stuff. Oh, you know, here's a tire gauge. I probably don't know how to work it, but there's a tire gauge for 99 cents. Or this is back in the day where they'd have like the bins with all the cassette tapes back in those days. They have a Sam and Dave cassette for 99 cents. I'll buy it for $20. I could kill an hour walking through Target. So I have always had that sort of, there's some stuff that I just cannot pass by. Do you have anything like, anytime like you're one of these point of purchase things and there's a particular like item or something that you just can't pass by?
I don't know why, but I'll still sift through the CD bin, you know, when it's a bargain bin and you're like, oh, even though I have actually rented, via streaming, things for which I have a CD or a DVD for, and because I forget I have it,
right.
and we're so
and you don't want
accustomed
to dig it out.
Right. So it's pointless and it's silly, but I'll still buy some CDs and DVDs.
Okay, well, I have this weakness, and my lovely wife Fran, if you're listening, just turn off the radio for about like 5 minutes, okay? And if you run into her, Fran, don't tell her this, okay? But one of my weaknesses is like flashlights. For some reason, I do not think you can have enough flashlights, and it's just that's just one of the things that so. It is very difficult for me to walk past point of purchase things for like flashlights. So this morning, I've got. Do you wear wristwatches?
No, haven't for years.
Okay, I am a wristwatch guy, and Fran keeps saying, "Let me buy you an Apple Watch." I don't want an Apple Watch. I don't want that but I don't. I don't want an alarm clock on my watch. I don't want to know how many steps I have. I've got a phone. I don't need to look at my watch. I don't want an Apple Watch, but I like old-fashioned wristwatches. Yeah. So I have 4 wristwatches. One that I'm wearing now that Fran gave me, which is a relatively expensive wristwatch. Another one that she gave me, which is a relatively expensive one. And then I have 2 other wristwatches that are Packers wristwatches, and I've had them forever, but they have sentimental value. One is a Super Bowl watch from about 13 years ago that my late wife gave me, and one is a Packers watch that my dad gave me. So, I mean, it just
cool, great.
So, I have to replace watch batteries and things like that, and I'll always rotate them. So. One of the Packers watches, the watch battery dies. So this morning on my way into work, I stop off at Batteries Plus to get the watch battery replaced. So while the gal at Batteries Plus is replacing this, I'm just kind of like looking around because Batteries Plus it's kind of like Camping World. It's this great store because they've got all this stuff that you didn't know that you needed or had to have, But I'm looking at that. So as I'm waiting for her to replace this, I come upon it at the cash register. They've got this thing here. I'm pulling out my big wad of keys. They've got these little flashlights that go onto your keychain, mm-hmm. and they're like normally $7. It was 2 for $10.
2 for $10.
2 for $10.
Please tell me you bought 2.
Of course I bought 2. I said these are 2 for $10. Absolutely. And of course now I've got this big honking key thing. I feel like one of the kids in high school in the AV club that had this like all these big keys on stuff on them. But I could not pass up on the flashlight there. So now I have 2. There's one. It's kind of working right there. So it's on the keychain.
Got a flashlight on your phone too, man.
You do. Okay. If my wife is listening to this, don't pay any attention to Vince. Yes, but
if you enjoy it though, man, it clearly brings you joy. That's what
it does.
say.
And it's actually, and it was only $10. Okay. It was only $10 in the scheme of money that I pee away, right. Or that most of us do. These 2 for $10. That is right. I do have one on the phone,
but you can do worse.
You could
for $10,
it's flashlights. So I will. I don't know. I guess I'm just ready for the apocalypse because, when the apocalypse comes, I want to make sure that I have a flashlight.
We have in our house now, have you seen these lantern sort of flashlights?
Oh, yeah.
So where they like separate and you pull them apart and then they light up. I think that's really effective. I'm not particularly fascinated by them, but they appear to fulfill their function.
You've got a bunch of them. Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Well, you can't have enough flashlights. That was kind of like my point of purchase thing today, and it was like, oh, Batteries Plus. And there was other more expensive stuff that I was looking at too, but I was able to keep it to just like $10.
And that's how you sell it. You should reward me. I could have spent so much more on these. Fran, I could have spent so much more on these various other things.
Absolutely. I was in the hardware store on my way home from work yesterday, and I was buying something, and they had expensive flashlights that were there. They had the big things that were like $34 and stuff. I passed up all that. Now it's good because actually this is one of the times where our text line has disappeared. And we tell everybody that the company that ran the text line went out of business actually, and they're making arrangements to use a different company, but I'm now told it's probably not going to be working while I'm still here. So, we're old school. But this is probably one of those good things because right now I'd be getting all these texts going, get to the program. Who cares about flashlights?
I think you'd be getting more texts about other things that people collect that are a little bit off.
Oh, right. Right. And again, I
have a pencil collection. I really enjoy it. I can't walk by
but you can just never have enough of these sort of things. And again, as long as you keep it, like I say, of all the different stuff that I spend money on, I guess these 2 little flashlights, although you're right, you do have that on your phone now.
Yeah. Well, you're not becoming a hoarder or anything, so if you're happy with it, fine.
All right, good. Okay. We'll
allow it.
We'll do that.
Won't we, folks? We'll allow Jeff to have his flashlights.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate that. I have been I've been mentioning this just because since we announced I was leaving WTMJ and retiring from daily radio, I have been absolutely overwhelmed by the response I've gotten. And matter of fact, somebody came up to me today and said, "Did you realize, how many people actually listen?" And you see the numbers and stuff, but you don't do that. But the response has been just absolutely incredible, and it brings the sentiments and the thoughts. I got an email just a little while ago from one of our listeners, Carrie. "Jeff, I've been a long-time listener. Going to miss listening to you for sure. I'm very sad your show is ending. My dad was a Vietnam veteran, and he is the one who always had your show on the radio." Actually, see, that's Aaron who's producing the show. That's how you survive for years. You have a second generation. You have people who grew up, their folks were listening, and then they started listening, and now their kids are listening as well. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. He was one who always had your show on the radio. Huge WTMJ talk radio guy. That's all he listened to, his car and at home. Passed away 14 years ago. You can give him credit for introducing me to your show. Rest in peace, Dad. You've educated me over the years about just about everything you talk about. I thank you for sharing all your knowledge and making me more aware of current events, etc. One of my favorite topics I'm going to miss is the Memorial Day segment. I look forward to every year people calling in and sharing the stories about veterans and their loved ones. Just wanted to reach out, send you the best congrats on your retirement, and enjoy. My afternoons are not going to be the same. One thing you mentioned yesterday that I do that from time to time, and sometimes I sit in my car when you have a topic I'm really interested in, and I wait to listen to the entire thing before exiting my vehicle. When you said that yesterday, it made me chuckle because that's me. I have said that the highest compliment you can pay somebody who does spoken word radio is that I was listening, I got to where I'm going, I'm sitting in my car waiting for the topic to end because I want to see where it goes. I had a guy not that long ago said that his wife thought he had had a heart attack or a stroke or something because he pulled into his driveway and he just sat there for 8 minutes in the driveway. And she's going, "Okay, why isn't he coming in?" "Oh, I'm listening to that guy on the radio." So it's just if I've been able to do that sometime over the years, I'm very pleased with that. Okay. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, there are good ideas. There are ideas that sound good on paper but don't work out. And then there are ideas that are so dumb that they would oink. No offense to pigs. This is an idea which is in that so dumb it would oink category. What could possibly go wrong? I will share and we will discuss in just a moment.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit?
Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 9th.
It's a totally free event. Capco is dedicated to bringing communities together and has collected nearly 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids.
Join us in WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season.
To support, visit kidstokids.toydrive.com.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Chill in the air or just flat out cold? This time of year we expect the weather to get cold. We know it's coming. But is your home ready? Does the cold air show you what kind of home you really have? Windows that leak air, drafty doors, or just a cold house in general? All of these problems lead to an inefficient home, high energy bills, and an uncomfortable, unhappy homeowner. There can be many temporary solutions, such as wrestling with plastic wrap on the windows, makeshift seals like a towel at the bottom of the doors, or just throwing more blankets on yourself to the point you can't move. Fighting a chilly house can be frustrating. There are real solutions, long-term solutions to stop drafts and air leaks. Solutions that maximize energy efficiency, reduce energy costs, and provide a comfort-controlled environment where you, the homeowner, can enjoy the warmth of hanging out at your home once again. Siding Unlimited provides these solutions. Our team can come out and deliver a free estimate to get the project started. We can discuss what makes the most sense for you to regain control of your home. New windows, entry doors, and siding can be the ultimate knockout blow to Mother Nature wreaking havoc in your home. We know this time of the year comes every 12 months. It's time we start preparing, so moving forward, you'll be in total control.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for replacement windows, roofing, decks, and, of course, siding. They are the best, as acknowledged by the many rewards their suppliers have conferred upon them. Now, take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
Back for more. Here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Everybody who's watching us on YouTube wanted to see, was that flashlight you bought again, Jeff? And do you really have all that stuff on your keychain? Yes, I do. You can watch us. We live stream the show. All you have to do is go to youtube.com and put in WTMJ or WTMJ.com and click the Watch Live button. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on my keychain. I admit it. Some of it's going to come off because there's stuff that I'm not going to need pretty soon, but I'm working on it. Okay. Let me just jump right into this, because I first saw the story on one of the TV channels, and then I thought I must not have heard this, because we cannot be doing this. The city of Milwaukee cannot be this dumb. Do they not understand what's going to happen? No, and I'm not talking about what the city of Shorewood did, where they turned the two-way street into essentially a street where you drive straight at each other. You know, we've talked about that before, something that still has people just absolutely shaking their head about who responsibly could have thought that. All right, this has to do with Christmas trees. If you haven't heard the story, I am not making this up. Hand in the air. Okay, now let's just kind of back up here. The city of Milwaukee has a huge problem with people dumping garbage all over. I mean, how many stories do we see about vacant lots or alleys where people just dump their crap? And the city, you know, they can find people if they can catch them, but it's very difficult to do that. And, you know, when you've got murders and carjackings and car thefts going on, it's tough to like track down somebody that dumped a bunch of tires in somebody else's backyard, which isn't to say littering is not a problem. But you know, it just, there's a limited amount of resources. So one of the things, the way they have handled what is going on this month, let me see, what's happening this month? Well, okay, lots of stuff, but one is this thing called Christmas, right? Now, I understand, at the risk of offending some of you, particularly if you work in the Wauwatosa City Hall, one of the things that people do around Christmas time is they put up these things called Christmas trees, right? Now, I happen to have an artificial Christmas tree, and I know for some of you purists that doesn't work. I love my artificial Christmas tree. So, you know, what we do every year, and the Christmas tree is up, you know, we haul it up from the basement and you kind of put it together and the lights are on it, and then my wife decorates it. She does a great job of keeping Christmas. But it's when Christmas is over, what we do is we take the ornaments off, and then we take the tree apart and we take it downstairs and put it in the box where it will wait till it is ready to go up next Christmas. It is not a problem. For many of you, you purchase real Christmas trees. And I get it. There's always this dispute about, is an artificial one better than a real one? It doesn't matter. It's kind of like, you know, having the Ginger and Mary Ann argument. You know, it's just, you're always going to have that battle. But for those of you, and there's a lot of you out there, that purchase the live Christmas trees, all right, and it's great. You do the same thing. You hang the lights on them. You put the ornaments and things like that. You have to keep watering them. But at some point in time, Christmas is going to come to an end. And then what happens is you're going to take the ornaments off, you're going to take the tinsel and garland off, you're going to take the lights off, and then you're going to have this Christmas tree, which is probably starting to drop needles and, you know, die. So you have to dispose of the Christmas tree, right? Well, in the city of Milwaukee, what people have always done up until this year is they have taken the used Christmas tree and they have taken it out and put it on the curb. And the City of Milwaukee Department of Public Works has come by and they have picked up the Christmas trees. And then they've taken them to Christmas Tree Heaven or wherever they go. But you know, that's how people dispose of them. The City of Milwaukee, well, here's the headline. Milwaukee to no longer collect Christmas trees curbside. Department of Public Works says. Now, this is not completely the stupidity of the Department of Public Works in Milwaukee. It starts from the stupidity of Tony Warren Spahn Evers and his state DNR. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has, for some reason, decided that they were going to revisit their long-standing interpretation about Christmas trees. Historically, Christmas trees have always been considered household decorations, which means that you could put them out on the curb, they could be picked up by the garbage people, and they could be taken to landfills where they are deposited. For reasons undoubtedly due to some environmentalist somewhere who gets a burr in his or her bonnet, they have decided that they are no longer going to consider Christmas trees as household decorations, but rather they're going to be considered yard waste. So that means the typical garbage collectors cannot pick them up because the garbage they pick up goes to a landfill. All right. So then the question becomes, well, if they're not household decorations, what are they? And how do you treat yard waste? Well, yard waste has to be composted. And so it goes to a different place. All right. Well, you say, well, wait, City of Milwaukee, how do you handle leaves? You could rake leaves into the curbs and you can put like dead branches and stuff and they'll pick them up. Well, I can't make this stuff up. The City of Milwaukee only collects yard waste from like the March 2nd through the end of November. They don't collect yard waste in December and January and February. So the Christmas trees are now considered to be yard waste. So as a result, if you put them out on the curb, they're not going to be picked up. They're not household decorations, so the garbage people aren't going to pick them up. They're considered yard waste, but there's no yard waste pickup for 3 or 4 months. So the Christmas trees are not going to be picked up. Now, the City of Milwaukee, which cannot get anybody to do anything, they can't stop people from like dumping old tires in other people's lots. They have now said, okay, here's what we're going to require people to do. Instead of just putting your Christmas tree out at the curb, we want you to take your dead Christmas tree with the leaves falling. We want you to put it in your car, and we want you to drop it off at one of our 2 permanent drop-off centers, one on Industrial Road, on Mill Road on the northwest side of the city, and one on Lincoln Avenue, kind of on the south side of the city. And they said, well, and we might offer a couple other things. But they're saying to residents, we want you to take the Christmas trees and we want you to drive them halfway around the city and drop them off. What could possibly go wrong with this? Do you think, what is the percentage of people in the city of Milwaukee that you think will take their dead Christmas tree with needles dropping all over it, take it, put it in their car, and drive it halfway across town to drop it off at one of these composting facilities? What is the percentage? 80%? 50%? 20%? You're lucky if you get 1 out of 100 who is going to do this. This is just the flat-out reality. What about all the people that don't have cars? Are you going to take your dead Christmas tree and put it on the bus with you and haul it out there? I mean, it is absolutely crazy. So what is going to happen? Well, you're going to have, my prediction, people with these dead Christmas trees, they're going to drop them and they're going to put them on the curb anyways. I mean, they're just going to dump, they're going to get out of their house. You've got an apartment building, like, an 8-family apartment building or something. Those Christmas trees are going to get dumped on the curb. So the garbage people aren't going to pick them up. There's no yard waste pickup. So they are then going to sit there. Well, okay, what's going to happen? Well, we have this thing in Wisconsin called wind. And you know that the wind is going to come along. You're that first day where you get like 35-mile-an-hour winds out of the north or northwest or west or whatever. These things are going to be blowing all over neighborhoods. God knows where they are going to end up. Now, look, the solution to this, to me, is obvious. The solution is, and I understand this is a problem that the city of Milwaukee has not necessarily caused. It's been caused by Tony Evers and the DNR deciding to change the rule with how you treat dead Christmas trees. All right, so if Evers and the DNR aren't going to back off on their thing, it creates this problem. The obvious answer is, you know what? Even though we technically don't pick up yard waste during these 3 months, we're going to schedule a 2-week period where we're going to go around and we're going to pick up your Christmas tree. And we're going to take it ourselves out to the composting thing. Because maybe it's just me, but if you rely on people to do it, I mean, I'm trying to picture a bunch of people sitting on a county bus heading out to Mill Road with their dead Christmas trees. I mean, it's just flat out not going to happen. Unless you make some material change, you are going to have dead Christmas trees blowing all over the city of Milwaukee. You think we have a problem with reckless driving now? Can you just imagine you're driving down the street and all of a sudden there's 3 dead Christmas trees in the middle of the road? How are you going to snowplow when you've got dead Christmas trees in the middle of the road? I mean, can you imagine? We've got enough problems with police chases now and how they end up. You're going to have somebody driving a stolen car at 100 miles an hour. They pull down the street. Boom, there's 3 or 4 Christmas trees they're going to be plowing into. This policy is never going to work. And anybody with an IQ above a dead Christmas tree should understand that the policy is not going to work. And again, I appreciate it's a problem that's caused by what the state DNR did. But just saying, take your Christmas tree out yourself to, the northwest side on Mill Road or to Lincoln Avenue, nobody is going to do that. Or for all intents and purposes, almost nobody is going to do it. Our number, and again, the text line doesn't work, 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Christmas tree disposal. Is there any chance that this plan is going to work where you tell people we're not picking them up, so you have to figure out a way to get them out to the composting thing yourself? Is anybody going to do that? And my answer is no. 855-616-1620. You can't get people to stop dumping, garbage and tires and things like that. So now everybody that has a live Christmas tree is expected to drive to a couple of these different centers. Not going to happen. Not a workable solution. 855-616-1620. We discuss in a moment.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Going there first. Got it.
When it comes to public safety in Milwaukee, no one knows it better than Annie Schwartz.
More often than not, when officers are hurt in a traffic crash, their vests actually save them.
Join WTMJ now Wednesday mornings at 9 for the Public Safety Hour. Annie will get you updated on the latest issues facing police, firefighters, and more.
One of the chiefs I used to work with always used to say was, first reports are always wrong.
It's the Public Safety Hour on WTMJ now.
Let's talk for a minute about Gruber Law Offices. They help people and families who are seriously injured in accidents. They will stand up for victims and take the burden off your shoulders. They focus on the legal aspect of things while their clients focus on healing. It's just one call. They handle the rest. Providing the best care, service, and representation is their priority. Now, Gruber Law has been serving the people in the state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Matter of fact, David Gruber and I were at Marquette Law School together at the same time back in the day. But giving back to the community is extremely important for them as well. Gruber Law is family-owned and operated, but nevertheless, there's a large, powerful team with resources to take on insurance companies. They are one of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. And here's how this works. There's no cost to call. There's no fee for a consultation. There's no cost to retain their firm. Matter of fact, there's never a fee until they win your case. Find out more. You can visit them. The website is gruber-law.com. You can learn more about the firm and what they do in the community. If it's easier, you can make that one call, 414-276-6666.
Hi, I'm Chef Paul Bartolotta of the Bartolotta Restaurant with the perfect gift idea for your holiday season. A Bartolotta gift card. With so many unique restaurants to choose from, Mr. B Steakhouses, Brookfield and Mequon, Joy Gerard's, Ristorante Bartolotta, the Commodore, and more. They select the restaurant, we create the memories. So purchase a gift card at Bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
According to the U.S. debt clock, our debt is over $32 trillion and climbing. The question is, how do we pay it off? One of the most likely answers is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? At Drake & Associates, we can help you create a plan so your retirement is tax efficient as possible. If you'd like to continue your education, we have our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides on retirement tax savings. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call or text now.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Here's an email. Jeff, I envision Milwaukee streets full of discarded Christmas trees in the height of winter, put out by a combination of people who are either unaware of the policy change. The policy change we're talking about is they're announcing that the Department of Public Works is no longer going to pick up Christmas trees because Tony Evers' Department of Natural Resources has said we're no longer going to consider Christmas trees to be household decorations, which mean they can go in a landfill. Instead, we have to treat them as yard waste. And yard waste has to go to a different place. But Milwaukee doesn't pick up yard waste between December and January in the winter. So right now they're telling people, okay, we want you to take your Christmas trees and we want you to take them to one of these 2 composting places. Who is going to do that? Anyhow, the email continues. I envision Milwaukee streets full of discarded Christmas trees in the height of winter, put out by a combination of people who are either unaware of the policy change or those who don't care. My guess would be that those who don't care are going to be the larger contingency. When the first big snow hits, plows will be hitting them and either getting damaged or seriously or dangerously tossing trees into the air, parked vehicles, and potentially even pedestrians and structures. Seems to me it will be a big mess. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing. I think a big mess is a good way to describe it. Mike on the Northwest Side. Mike, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Jeff. It's pure insanity. These guys are just nuts. You know, people can't manage to take a fast food bag to a garbage can. How are they going to take a tree halfway across the city?
Well, right. So what's going to happen? The tree is dropping all its needles. It's January 5th or whatever. You're taking the tree down. You've got to do something with it. I mean, seriously, how many people are really going to figure out we're going to drive this over to Mill Road, 66th and Mill Road, and we're going to go into that big city, dump area? Almost nobody is going to do that. And who wants a dead Christmas tree in their car to begin with?
Oh, that's true. I wonder if Tony Evers would do it.
Yeah. What are we going to do with the Capitol Christmas tree? No, thanks for the call, Mike. And again, it's just, this is one of these things that, see, sometimes there's ideas that sound good on paper and they don't work out very well in reality. This is one that, I can't believe they even rolled it out, because just on paper, you know that it's not going to, work. Let's talk to Shannon in Oak Creek. Shannon, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hello. Hey there. I'm looking at it from a perspective of kind of a country boy, rural guy here. I'm wondering how many city folk are going to be calling the fire department when they're trying to get rid of their trees. I'm wondering, you think about a dried up dead pine tree. Have you ever burned pine before?
No, I have not.
It's like gasoline. I'm worried that a lot of people think, well, hey, I'll just pick in the backyard, cut it up, throw it in my burn pit, throw it in my fire barrel, put it in my fireplace. Chop up that dried up pine tree and light it, it will go up like gasoline. And I'm worried the fire department might be getting a lot of calls over this.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. Thanks for calling. Look, it's just there is a simple solution. And rather than rolling out this Rube Goldberg scheme, there's a simple solution. And that solution is, given, and I appreciate this is not a problem that the city of Milwaukee caused. This is a problem that the DNR has caused. But the solution to this is to say, okay, well, we're going to have to make arrangements for a couple weeks, and I don't know how long that period would be, but we are going to do Christmas tree pickups. And I understand that probably means diverting people from driving the snow plows or whatever, and there's probably going to be an added cost. Thank you, Tony Evers. But just to tell people, we expect you to in the city of Milwaukee, we expect you to take the responsibility for disposing of your Christmas trees. In the real world, it's just not flat going to happen. All right, we have a call from a city worker who would like to remain anonymous. I'm going to let you do that. Good afternoon.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Sure.
So what you're saying is exactly correct. The city will end up dispatching a couple of trucks, maybe one or two per yard, to go out and collect these trees. And they'll be dumped in an area where they can be collected and sent right to, the place where we send yard waste. Because for all the reasons you stated, we're going to have Christmas trees all over the place because people are not going to do exactly what you said. And there were meetings on this for the last week or so, and not in the long-term meetings, just this is what we can no longer pick them up. But everybody in the room and all of the crews, all of the managers, we all know that we're going to be out there picking up these trees because we're either going to be picking them up at curbside or in the middle of the road, or there's more dumping, illegal dumping.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand.
They're going to be picked up.
Right. Here's what I don't understand, because obviously, what you're saying. What you're saying, it's the only way that makes sense. It's the only realistic thing. So why roll out a policy like this, with all this fanfare and all over the TV? Why isn't there somebody who says, look, what we're talking about just isn't practical? It might sound good on paper. We want the residents to figure out how to get the Christmas trees halfway across town to drop them off. But isn't there somebody in that room that says, don't you realize this isn't going to work? Why not just go to what you're talking about now, which is the obvious thing that has to happen? That's what I don't get about this whole thing,
Right. Well, a lot of people in that room didn't get it either. So.
Okay, good enough. Thanks for the call. It's
the same way. So
no, thanks for the call. I mean, it's just it works for the city, and it's just. I mean, you don't mean to laugh at this stuff, but you think, okay, well, and I appreciate it. It's a problem we did not create. It is a problem the DNR has created for us. Okay, but now we have to figure out what a solution is. And you would think that there'd be somebody in a position of authority, whether it's the mayor's office or whether it's with the DPW, who would raise their hand when they hear this and they say, don't you realize that what we're talking about and what we're going to tell the public they have to do makes no blanking sense? Because it does make no blanking sense about this. And, I mean, obviously, they're going to have to move to at least some targeted sort of pickup of Christmas trees, or else I think we all agree there's going to be Christmas trees blowing all over the city, and snowplows are going to be hitting them, and they're going to be blocking roads, and it's just going to be a complete and total mess because you know that there's this opportunity that's there. So, again, we're from the government. We're here to help you. There's some ideas, going back to how we started this conversation, that I understand they sound good on paper and they don't work out. There's unintended consequences. And then there's other ideas which are just flat out dumb, and they're dumb from the jump. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner.
Have you heard about the game-changing jewelry store that's now open just in time for the holidays? It's Diamonds Direct on Mayfair Road in front of Mayfair Mall. Diamonds Direct, started by former diamond wholesalers who decided to stop selling to jewelry stores and start selling direct to the public. No middleman, no nonsense, no pricing games. It's the only store here with a nationwide low price guarantee. And the selection is mind-blowing. Hand-picked diamonds in all shapes and sizes, from a half carat to 20 carats. And case after case of earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. It's like shopping 30 stores at once. Plus, Diamonds Direct has all the designer rings women want. Names like Verragio, Henry Dawsey, and dozens more. If you're getting engaged or thinking jewelry for any occasion, your timing is perfect. A real direct diamond importer has finally arrived in Milwaukee with values you never thought possible. Discover the jewelry shopping concept that's sweeping across America, now open here on Mayfair Road in front of Mayfair Mall. Learn more and get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee Hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin sports fans ask for? As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows that it takes a team effort to make things happen. And when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team you're looking for. Good luck to all Wisconsin teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Somebody comments on YouTube. Well, obviously Christmas trees are yard waste, even though they've never been considered that before. I applaud the city for fiscal responsibility. Are you on drugs? I mean, seriously, are you nuts? Because here's what's going to happen. It's not that the city doesn't pick up yard waste. It's just that the city doesn't pick up yard waste between December to March. People aren't going to dispose of the trees. They're going to dump them out on the curbs regardless. They're going to get blown around, and the first snowplow that plows into them is going to cause more damage to the snowplow than it would cost to just pick up the darn trees. So this isn't fiscally responsible at all. It's going to end up costing a lot more to the city to clean up the mess that's going to be made by all these Christmas trees that are dumped than it would be to just pick them up in the first place. And again, I appreciate it. This isn't a problem the city's caused. The city's been able to pick them up in years past. It is only because Tony Evers and the DNR decided that they were going to change the rule. Yeah, one of our texters said, I'd love to see what the alleged savings dropping trees off is supposed to save. Bet the city pays more with this new initiative. Well, you're going to pay more in damages. There's no question about it. And our city worker caller is probably exactly right. Hopefully somebody will say, okay, but before we even roll this out, we realize this is really dumb and it's not going to work. And we'll dedicate, one of our trucks to go pick up Christmas trees that are out there and take them over for composting. That's how it should happen. I have talked about this case a couple times, and I want to bring it back. The trial isn't until March of next year, and I'm not going to be doing the daily radio show here in WTMJ then. But I want this case to be first of mind because it demonstrates the war on police that is being conducted in some communities. And this is, of course, Dane County, the ever politically correct Dane County, where you have decisions that are made based on, really, the community, the loudest voices in the community. You scream loud enough, and then even though it's a case that's got no chance of being won, you get the DA's office to bring it and essentially try to ruin a good person's life and have to spend all sorts of money on legal fees. I'm talking about this case brought against a Division of Criminal Investigation agent named Mark Wagner, and I've tweeted about this before. What happened is February 3rd of 2022, and I'll just kind of do this. Agent Wagner is part of this intergovernmental task force, and they're out there trying to pick up fugitives. And they get this word that this guy who's wanted for drug dealing and all sorts of things, they've got a location on him. So they set up this deal where they're going to arrest him. So there's a bunch of cars that go out to arrest him. So this is part of the tactical squad. What happens is they find him in his car, and what they do is the police take two cars, one in front of the bad guy's car, one behind it, and they pin the car in. That's this maneuver they do. So then Special Agent Wagner, along with a couple other people, their job is to roll up. They get out of the car, and they want to make an arrest. So because there is a concern that this person might be armed, et cetera, they're taking all sorts of precautions. So Special Agent Wagner gets out of the car, and he's got one of these shields, and he's going up to the side of the car. They're telling the person to get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car. And there's a couple agents that are behind him. The guy is not getting out of the car. As a matter of fact, he's revving his car and moving back and forth. He's pinned in. He's trying to bust out of this. They're yelling, police, police, get out of the car, et cetera. The car is heavily tinted as well. That's a whole other issue. So it's not easy to see what's going on there. And Special Agent Wagner, he's talking about how I'm trying to look through these tinted windows. I'm getting closer. I've got this shield up. We're yelling at the guy to show his hands, et cetera, and he's not doing that. The car is revving back and forth. One of the other agents, I guess, comes up and smashes in smashes in the rear mirror, the rear view the windshield in the back, the shield in the back, the rear mirror, smashes that in so they can get a look inside the car. Meanwhile, the bad guy who's in the car, he's still revving the stuff. He's not surrendering. He's moving his hands up and down. And we're exactly not sure what happened. It's unclear. But when the window breaks, when they break the window, there's a concussion or something. Special Agent Wagner gets knocked over. At that point in time, he thinks he's being shot at. He thinks he and his partner are being shot at by the guy who's been refusing to show his hands, and so they shoot. They fire, and there were a couple shots that were fired in. They hit the guy who's there. He did not die, and that's I guess the good news. The district attorney's office has charged Special Agent Wagner with a variety of crimes, actually second-degree recklessly endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon. This case is an absolute outrage. It's going to trial in March, but here you have one of these agents, and Special Agent Wagner has been a cop, been in law enforcement for decades. The people with him have been in law enforcement for decades. They are making a high-risk arrest. You have somebody who is not complying with their instructions. You have somebody who is pinned in, who's revving the car, trying to get away. And then you have all these circumstances, including, whatever it was, Wagner thought he was being shot at, no relation to me. He thought he was being shot at, so he fires. Somebody else also fires. None of this happens if the bad guy simply does what he was supposed to do in the first place, which is surrender when he's pinned in by law enforcement. But for the district attorney's office to bring charges is an absolute outrage. In my opinion, there is no way in God's green earth, even in Dane County, the People's Republic of Dane County, there's no way that they're going to find 12 people who are going to agree beyond a reasonable doubt that this particular agent did anything against the law, or certainly prove a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. But yet it ruins his life because he's always going to be identified in this fashion. This was, in my opinion, it was charges that were brought because you had some loud voices in the community. Oh, this was an unarmed black man who was shot. Well, okay, there's all sorts of reasons behind how this happened, including had the man simply surrendered in the first place, none of these situations would have occurred. They're trying to scapegoat him. The district attorney in Dane County is trying to make Special Agent Wagner a scapegoat. I don't think it's going to work. But meanwhile, he's got to pay for legal fees and things like that. It's an absolute outrage. The case is scheduled to go to trial in March. I'm going to be following this in many respects. You should follow it as well. But it's a classic example of why nobody wants to be a cop anymore. Back with more in just a minute.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at AccuNet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, happy holidays. This is WTMJ's Jeff Wagner for Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built Right's overstocked and overstacked sale is on now. Built Right always saves you money. 4 generations, 95 years strong. The 3rd and 4th generation family members are on hand working in the store along with their amazing team with over 400 years of experience. You'll find thousands of items in stock for guaranteed delivery by the holidays. hard-to-find jewelry, armoires, and kids' rockers. 150 styles of recliners and 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. A Built Right gift certificate is a great holiday gift, too. USA-made, small-scale, Amish-made, real solid wood. Built Right has furniture and mattresses for everyone, from petite to plus size, and they can work with your budget. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association's 2023 Retailer of the Year. Shop Monday through Saturday. They open at 10, they close at 6. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. When you get there, be sure to tell them Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right Furniture, 5430 West Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
The holiday season is right around the corner. Give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a STIHL. Visit your local STIHL dealer or go to stihlusa.com/gift guide.
Your Salvation Army donation feeds the hungry. Share your hope today at samilwaukee.org.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere. But the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com. Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Up until the early 1970s, if you watched television, particularly like the sitcoms, it was the Andy Griffith, it was the Leave It to Beaver types of things. It was Gilligan's Island. No knock on Gilligan's Island. I still watch Gilligan's Island from time to time. But it was kind of these sort of pointless kind of comedies, or they were comedies that had morals and they always ended in a certain fashion. That all changed in 71 with All in the Family and Archie Bunker, and that led to just a complete new generation of situation comedies. And at the height of that, Norman Lear, he was the creator of All in the Family. He went on to produce lots of shows. The Jeffersons, which looked at the struggles of a black family. You had Good Times, which was that was set in the Chicago projects. Maude, outspoken feminist, and they dealt with issues like abortion, which, up until then had been absolute taboo on television. All that was the brainchild of producer Norman Lear, who very, very active in Hollywood. I think really, politics notwithstanding, you can say he kind of changed the face of modern TV. I bring this up because he passed away this morning at the age of 101, and he's certainly a guy who leaves a huge legacy on the medium within which he worked. When we come back, the final Jeopardy answer is $148.6 million. $148.6 million. I'll give you the question right after the top of the hour news.
Stay tuned. Jeff Wagner returns after this on WTMJ. Congratulations to our very own Jeff Wagner, retiring after 25 years on WTMJ.
No show lasts forever. I'm going to be retiring from WTMJ at the end of this year.
But he's not done yet.
Congrats early on your retirement.
Well, I'm around for another 2 months. Can't get rid of me before December 15th.
Keep tuning in. And don't miss out on our send-off to the one and only Jeff Wagner. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Companies are in the midst of open enrollment. I know we are here at Good Karma Brands with R&R Insurance. To shed some light on the topic is Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations.
Thank you, Vince. A benefit understood is a benefit appreciated. Knowing how to best communicate your benefits will help your employees understand their options, guide their decision-making, and increase their sense of value and engagement. R&R Insurance can show your business how to use your benefit program to attract and retain employees. In this tight labor market, you need every competitive advantage.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
At R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit packages in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefit information for themselves and their families 24/7. At R&R Insurance, we know employee benefits.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
One of Milwaukee's most cherished holiday traditions returns to the Bradley Symphony Center when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Holiday Pops December 14th through the 19th. Tickets to some performances are nearly sold out, so reserve yours now by calling 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org. Conductor and trumpeter Byron Stripling will lead the MSO in chorus, plus Broadway sensation Mamie Paris in a festive mix of carols, classics, and sing-along numbers for all ages. Don't miss this Yuletide treat. Holiday Pops runs December 14th through the 19th with 2 performances on Saturday, December 16th. Bring yourself, your special someone, or the whole family and delight in the holiday season with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org.
Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive is bringing us all together again to collect toys for children in need.
Join Capco and WTMJ for a celebration of gift giving on December 9th at the Kasmeric Center in Grafton.
This is more than just a toy drive, it's kids helping kids.
We are learning about the importance of gift giving along with other kids and families all over southeastern Wisconsin.
Experience the joy of giving on December 9th.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Help us make a difference this Christmas. Visit kidstoKidstoydrive.com.
Hey, Sandy Max here. Have you heard about my friends at Three Pillars? They're located on 300 gorgeous nature-soaked acres in Dousman, with over 10 miles of walking and biking trails crisscrossing the Bark River. This serene setting is also home to Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community. Continuing care means every facet: independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, and rehab. So whatever you need, Three Pillars is the best, and you deserve the best in your retirement. Learn more at threepillars.org.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Your locally owned hometown station gives you the news and what it means to you. Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 1 o'clock, it's 37 degrees, mostly cloudy with a high of 40 today, partly cloudy, breezy tonight with a low of 35. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Greg Matzik. Decision Wisconsin. 10 Republicans from the state who posed as fake electors for former President Donald Trump are now admitting they were trying to help overturn President Biden's victory in 2020.
In a settlement to a civil lawsuit, the electors acknowledged Joe Biden won Wisconsin, and they say their actions were, quote, part of an attempt to improperly overturn the 2020 presidential election results. This settlement marks the first time any Trump electors have revoked their filings purporting Trump had won. Fake electors were charged in Georgia and in Michigan. There is no known criminal investigation taking place here, and those fake electors have also agreed not to serve as electors in 2024. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
In Washington, a story breaking this morning, former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he only has 2 weeks left on the job. He'll step down after becoming the first ever speaker voted out of the office. More from ABC's Justin Finch.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy plans to wrap up his congressional career at the end of this month. The California Republican breaking the news in a Wall Street Journal op-ed Wednesday, saying the work is only getting started on his next chapter. A majority of Congress members voted to oust McCarthy from the speakership 2 months ago. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
In Wisconsin, other lives will be saved thanks to a Milwaukee police officer who was in grave condition following a car crash in Oak Creek Sunday night.
My heart's in a million little pieces.
Julia Nowak posting on YouTube about her husband.
A lot of people are hurting right now, and I'm really hurting.
Nowak's partner was Officer Peter Jerving, who was shot and killed in the line of duty earlier this year. The news this week is a punch to the gut for the men and women of MPD.
It's a brotherhood and sisterhood. They get through it together.
There's strength in that togetherness.
Germantown Police Chaplain Greg Young tells WTMJ Now that knowing Nowak's organs will be donated can help the healing process.
Knowing that other lives are living because of his.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
With the stadium funding deal signed, construction is already underway at American Family Field.
The major change visible at the ballpark even now is that there's no scoreboard. Brewers president of business operations Rick Schlesinger tells WTMJ.
We're already in place to have the new scoreboard, 2 new scoreboards in place before opening day.
The team is upgrading the board from 5,900 to 12,000 square feet, and Schlesinger says that will be the most visible change fans will see next season.
A lot of the work that's being done in the offseason besides the scoreboard is the back of the house infrastructure, the things like freezers and chillers, upgrading some of the broadcast infrastructure.
Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Schlesinger says the Brewers will meet with the ballpark district board once it's set to plan out the next few years of construction. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed results this afternoon. The Dow currently up about 45 points at 36,172. S&P 500 down about 0.25% at 45.66. And the Nasdaq also down this afternoon about 9 points at 14,221 and change. Ready for investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary? Visit AnnexWealth.com. Click on the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:05.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit frederick.com/cancer.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Vince Vitrano here with the perfect holiday gift. My family would love to host your family on the biggest, boldest vacation ever. A 7-night adventure on the largest cruise ship in the world, the Royal Caribbean Wonder of the Seas. I'm working with Expedia Cruises in Brookfield, part of the #1 travel brand, Expedia, on this special invitation. We set sail December 29th, 2024, and celebrate the new year together at sea. Visit Expedia Cruises in Brookfield or call 262-955-1980.
The Milwaukee Bucks are officially headed to the Sin City after beating the New York Knicks in the NBA's in-season tournament quarterfinals on Tuesday night. This one by a final score of 146-122.
Middleton lobs up to Giannis, who sends it down with a two-hand jam on another alley-oop. Oh, the rim's going to feel that one tomorrow.
With the win, the Bucks now advancing to the semifinals of the in-season tournament. They will travel to Vegas to take on the Indiana Pacers on Thursday. Tip-off is set for 4 p.m. Over to college hoops, where it's now 6 straight wins for the Wisconsin Badgers as they go on to beat Michigan State on Tuesday night by a final of 70-57 to improve to 7-2 on their season. Next up for the 23-ranked Badgers is a date with the #1 team in the country, the Arizona Wildcats, on Saturday afternoon. And lastly, the Marquette Golden Eagles will look to bounce back after their loss to Wisconsin last weekend. The 8th-ranked Golden Eagles will play host to 12th-ranked Texas tonight at Pfizer Forum. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Time for a look at your roads at Johnson & Sons Paving. Time saver traffic update. Usual slowdowns, 43 southbound. It's a broken record here every day. Brown Deer to downtown. Not already 16 this afternoon. Normal road closures due to construction. No major incidents to report otherwise on the system.
Traffic is sponsored by Evans Transportation Services. Thank heavens for Evans.
Rely on one company for accounting, shipping, and tracking.
Evans Transportation Services. Family owned for 40 years and continuing to grow. Evans Transportation Services in Delafield.
Mostly cloudy the rest of the afternoon with a high of 40 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, a low of 35. We get the 50s on Thursday under mostly sunny skies, 54 on Friday. It's 37 degrees in Madison, 34 in Green Bay, 34 in Waukesha, and 38 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:09.
From the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back. The Department of Justice is open. That's how we started this program 25 years ago. It's how we're going to wrap it up. Greg Matzik.
Yes, sir.
All right. So right before the break, I was talking about Norman Lear, who really recreated modern situation comedies in the early 1970s with All in the Family and things like that. He passed away at the age of 101. Here's one of the other stories from yesterday. Lionel Dahmer, who is the father of Jeffrey Dahmer, passed away yesterday at the age of 87. And what always struck me about that is, can you imagine what it was like to go through life as the father of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, I'm sure Lionel and Mrs. Dahmer did not want their names in the news, associated with their son. I always wonder in situations like that, just how much did they know? Did they know their son was disturbed to any level? Jeffrey Dahmer died at the age of 34. I guess I didn't realize he was that young. The anniversary of his death was not too long ago.
Prison, killed in prison,
prison, beat to death. So, 87, though. I wonder what his day-to-day life was like.
Well, exactly, because you wonder how that goes. Oh, nice to meet you. This is Lionel. Hi, I'm Lionel Dahmer. And you just hear that name. It's kind of like, people are like, okay, any relation? Well, Jeffrey Dahmer was my son. You can just... I feel bad because there's nothing at all to suggest that he knew anything about what's going on, and I guess the question becomes, you always hear the story about sins of the father, but in this case it's sins of the son. You got an adult kid who goes off and does something terrible, but you're always going to be linked to that.
Would you change your name in that situation? Leave the country? Like what do you do?
Interesting,
right? To go by your middle name, your wife's maiden name? Who knows?
This is. I do not mean this analogy, but because it has nothing to do with Dahmer's. But it is always a question of what happens if you have a really famous sibling or something like that, or famous or infamous or whatever. I went to Nicolet, and a few years behind me, but ahead of my brother, Cato Kalin. Remember Cato Kalin?
Yeah.
Cato Kalin, who is the of course, became famous during the O.J. Simpson trial. He was kind of the house guest, and now I think he's a radio DJ or something.
That sounds about right. Yeah,
but so it's Cato Kalin. It's not an infamous thing. It's not like a Dahmer thing. But it's Cato Kalin is kind of one of these people who's famous for sort of being famous. In some respects.
There's another name, and he's a very prominent NFL play-by-play broadcaster. His name is Jerry Sandusky. Out in Baltimore. Right. And, of course, you hear the name and you think Penn State, Joe Paterno's coaching staff, and all the things Jerry Sandusky did. That he's a prominent NFL broadcaster. Same name, different guy.
Well, in this case, anyhow, a few years ago, I'm at a bar with a friend of mine who introduces me to one of his high school classmates. Turns out to be Cato Kalin's brother.
Oh, jeez.
And we're having this conversation. This is, and I forget. I'm forget his first name, but this is such and such, and John. Let's say it's John. I don't know that. Well, I don't think it was, but John Kalin. And I'm like, and we went to Nicolet together, and then inevitably the question is, you related to Cato? And I'm sure that you hate to get. You go through life like, oh God, somebody's going to ask me this. Yes, it's my brother or whatever. And I don't think there's any animosity, and there's nothing to be ashamed of or anything. It's just like, yes, that is my brother. My brother has to deal with that a lot. Are you related to that guy on the radio, Jeff?
Cato's maybe a little more lovable, I think, to some degree, right? He's still a Brewers fan. He still chimes in on Brewers Twitter, and
but it's when people hear that name, they just kind of identify and stuff. And matter of fact, his brother's very, very nice guy, and I've run into him a couple times over the years and stuff. But it's kind of like, all right, what do you do when you have a sibling or a kid or a father who's famous or infamous?
Right. I heard you talking about Norman Lear. He was creating shows that would have been perfect for the Fox network way before the Fox network was the Fox network.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
You don't have Married with Children unless you have,
Exactly.
All in the Family.
Exactly. But his idea that families are flawed, families have struggles, and it's okay to not have a great outcome. Like that was sort of his thought process. Not everything was like the Cosby Show. Not everything was perfect.
Right.
Not everything was doctor and lawyers as parents.
Well, and I'm old enough to remember, when All in the Family debuted, and situation comedies in the 50s and 60s, it was Leave It to Beaver, and the big controversy was, okay, Wally took Ward's car, and drove it around the block and dented it up or something, and how's that going to play out? Or the Andy Griffith Show, or again, the sillier things like Gilligan's Island or Petticoat Junction or the Beverly Hillbillies.
Right?
Yeah, My
Same
Three
idea.
Sons. Exactly. And I mean, All in the Family, now I guess you look at it and it seems kind of tame, but it was groundbreaking at the time, where you have the Archie Bunker character who's a bigot and who, is into these political arguments with Rob Reiner, who played the son-in-law. And it was just something that you never saw on TV before. But once it debuted and once it was a hit, you knew TV was going to be changed forever.
Yeah, 101 years old. Pretty amazing life. Amazing career.
He and Mel Brooks were just huge. I mean, you'd see they used to hang out together and stuff. Mel Brooks is still alive, I believe. Yeah.
Mel Brooks once famously said, "Tragedy is when you cut your finger. Comedy is when you walk into an open sewer pit and die." Classic line from Mel Brooks.
I'm a huge fan of Mel Brooks as well. But Norman Lear passing away at the age of 101. All right, when we come back, the final Jeopardy answer is $148.6 million. I will explain. We will discuss.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit? Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 9th. It's a totally free event. Capco is dedicated to bringing communities together and has collected nearly 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids, and still counting. Join us and WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season. To support, visit kidstokidstoydrive.com.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Happy holidays. This is Jeff Wagner here to tell you about Built Right Furniture. Built Right's overstocked and overstacked mattress sale is on now. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free store. Built Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you will get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep. Built Right does the research for you. Their team will take the time to help fit you. Built Right's affordable, better quality brands include Restonic, Therapeutic, Heirloom, Gold Bond, and Schiffman. Built Right offers free delivery on mattress-only purchases of $7.99 or more, and they'll remove your old mattress too. Select model sets include a free mattress protector or heavy-duty bed frame. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. When you get there, tell them WTMJ's Jeff Wagner sent you to locally and family-owned Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
The holiday shopping season is here. WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got a great idea for you. Gift cards from the historic Fox and Hounds, voted the best supper club in the area, make perfect holiday gifts. I was just talking to a coworker today who was at the Fox and Hounds last week, said it was fantastic. It was spectacular. And if you buy a $100 gift card, you get a $20 gift card free. Buy $250, get $50 free. Buy $500, get $125 free. With the buy one dinner, get one free offer, when you buy one gift card, it's like getting a second gift card for free. So gift cards for your loyal employees and clients make wonderful holiday gifts, and your company will save hundreds of dollars. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Book your company party at the Fox and Hounds in December or January. Half of your employees' dinners are free. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. It is gorgeous at the holidays. The holiday lights and decorations are absolutely magical. Enjoy your free dinner tonight at Fox and Hounds.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay. I am on occasion accused of being anti-mass transit. I'm shocked to hear that. And I'm really not anti-mass transit. I'm anti-mass transit that doesn't work. I'm anti-stuff that costs a lot of money and never is going to deliver a payoff. I'm anti mass transit based on estimates that have no relation to reality and never will. I'm anti-mass transit based on estimates that people know or should know are absolutely crazy at the time, and yet they go ahead and do them. I mean, and we can go through all sorts of examples. I mean, the hop being one of them, and I understand, well, people ride the hop. Well, I mean, the numbers that they predicted for hop ridership were based on people paying to ride the hop. Well, the hop has been quote-unquote free, and by that I mean subsidized for a large portion of the time by the taxpayers of the city of Milwaukee. So it's subsidized by the taxpayers because the people that run the hop know that if you charged $1 for a ride, the ridership would just absolutely plummet. All right, so the Milwaukee County Transit System, they put in with federal money, and of course the thinking is federal money is free. They put in this quote-unquote high-speed bus line, which runs from the east side out to the campus of the medical college. And, we've talked about this before. Instead of it taking 36 minutes, it takes like 29. So that's if you ride the thing the whole way. It knocks off like 5 or 6 minutes. 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, really? And there's this ridership predictions that, and of course you take away parking lanes, you redivert traffic, it's all this stuff. So you cause drivers a huge inconvenience. And the idea is, okay, all these people are going to flock to ride the bus. Well, okay, in the real world, that's not going to happen. Now, I understand right now, they've had, hey, our ridership exceeds our estimates. But again, right now the ridership is free. It's being subsidized by advertisers. The only way you're going to know whether it's successful or not is 2 years from now when people have to pay to do this. All right, so you've got this one not so really high-speed bus line that's out there. So now the transit system has announced that, okay, they've now got a new route. What they want to do is they want to put in a north-south bus rapid transit line, which would start in Glendale, kind of by where I grew up at Bayshore Mall, and would dump off in Oak Creek at the IKEA. Now, one of the big arguments for this used to be we're going to go past Northwestern Mutual when they had the Northwestern Mutual campus in Franklin. Well, that's being closed. So that never mind, we don't have that there. But this is now going to go to IKEA, an 18-mile line. The cost, it will have 33 stops. The cost, $148.6 million. So the final Jeopardy question is, how much is the estimated cost of this north-south bus rapid transit line from Bayshore to IKEA? The answer is $148.6 million. Let's round up and call it $150 million because, by the time it gets built, it's probably going to be $175 million. But let's use $150. The estimates are that locally they would have to come up with 20%, so that would be $30 million, and 80% would be federally funded. Operations and maintenance costs have been estimated at $11.5 million. So the taxpayers are going to have to be subsidizing this. They estimate that there would be 33 stops along the corridor. Buses would be projected to run every 10 minutes, which seems like an awful lot of buses to me, to be running. Let's see. And then the story that I'm looking at in the local newspaper, talks about, we've got all these great riders, people that are riding, again, the east-west rapid bus route. But again, right now it's free. It's not meeting the expected numbers, and right now it's free. So, who knows what it would be when people actually have to start paying. But the big question becomes, is there enough regular ridership on a bus line to support $150 million to create this bus rapid transit line? And understand what this means is going to happen. You're going to take away traffic lanes. You're going to take away parking lanes. You're going to, in some cases, probably interfere with access to buildings, all to build this bus rapid transit line, which is really going to duplicate stuff that you have going on now, but admittedly a little bit faster. Our number, 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Okay, let's tee this up. Is, I mean, the big question becomes, is there enough regular ridership on a bus line to support $150 million to create this bus rapid transit line? And understand what this means is going to happen. You're going to take away traffic lanes. You're going to take away parking lanes. You're going to interfere with access to buildings, all to build this bus rapid transit line, which is really going to duplicate stuff that you have going on now, but admittedly a little bit faster. Our number, 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Okay, let's tee this up. Is Is this something that's worth spending $150 million on? Is there enough demand to have something that starts at Bayshore and Glendale and goes down to Oak Creek, this north-south line? At least you can make the argument with the east-west bus line that, well, you've got the medical college, so you got people that are going out to Freighter and Children's and all that sort of stuff on one end, and you've got, people that are on the east side, so it offers that connection. But are there really enough people on a daily, regular basis who are going to be going from Glendale down to Oak Creek to make this worth $150 million, plus again, the $11 million that they estimate it's going to cost to keep this thing running and all these other attendant costs. Our number, 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. And is this really, is it necessary to have the dedicated bus lines?
Stick around. Jeff Wagner is right around the corner for all you need to know on and off the court.
Here's a lob up top. Giannis catches the pass from Middleton and stuffs it down on another alley-oop between those two.
It's Bucks Insiders on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
The Bucks are one of the best teams in the NBA. I think Bucks fans over the last 5 years have gotten used to Bucks winning a whole bunch of regular season games.
Every Thursday at 4:45 on WTMJ. Presented by fellow Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Best Electric.
Hello, it's licensed health insurance agent Mark Christensen, CISMedicare.com, independent Medicare agent, 16 years. We work with 14 companies, 74 plans. Now is the time to review numerous Medicare plan benefit changes. Call me at 262-302-1133 or go to CISMedicare.com and say yes to CIS.
Say yes to CIS.
This is a solicitation. We do not offer every plan. Contact 1-800-MEDICARE for more info.
Outdoor living is a cherished experience here, especially in the warm season. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local family-owned company that will revolutionize outdoor living at your home. Visualize your home and yard with an in-ground pool, screen room, pergola, patio, pavers, deck, even an outdoor kitchen. Get with Outdoor Living Unlimited and put that dream into action. The honest, reliable artists and craftsmen will be honored to work with you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
It's never too early to start making your list and checking it twice. Give the gift of a delicious Milwaukee food and city tours experience this holiday season. From a walking tour on Brady Street to our tacos and tequila bus tour or our beloved Christmas bakery bus tour, we have something for all tastes. Plus, we're offering a 15% discount on all gift card purchases through the end of the year. Send your clients, colleagues, or family this delicious gift at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com.
While planning your next get-together for guests, serve the most awarded cheese spread in the world. Pine River Gourmet Cheese Spreads. Made with only Wisconsin Grade A cheddar and other high-quality Wisconsin dairy ingredients, Pine River features creative, bold flavors that appeal to all ages. Easily spreadable on a cracker or pretzel, it also adds a wallop of flavor to your favorite dishes. Pine River is an excellent keto-friendly protein-packed snack, perfect for your next tailgate party or charcuterie board. Find it at your local grocery store or order it today at pineriver.com.
You're listening to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay, so $150 million at least, and then another $11 million a year to operate it, and they're looking at building this bus rapid transit line, high-speed bus rapid transit line, starting at Bayshore and ending up in Oak Creek at IKEA. All right, so what do you accomplish with this? You understand, you're tearing up the roads, you're taking away lines of traffic. Like, what do you accomplish? Well, here's the deal. Right now, they have, of course, existing bus routes that run along 27th Street. And you can right now it is possible to take buses that will take you from IKEA up to Bayshore or vice versa. Right now, the existing bus routes stop at stations every 13 to 15 minutes. The full 18-mile route takes 80 minutes. Okay, 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. The planned north-south BRT line would have buses stop every 10 minutes with a full ride taking somewhere between 65 and 70 minutes. So for $150 million, you knock off 10 minutes. And that's for somebody, well, okay, let's use the higher estimate. You knock off 15 minutes, but it's still over an hour. And that's for people who are riding from IKEA up to Bayshore or vice versa. Most people, of course, aren't going to ride that whole way, I wouldn't imagine. Also, the question becomes, is there really that much demand for people to go from IKEA up to Bayshore and Glendale or vice versa? 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. Now, again, the hope here is that they're going to get the federal government to come in and commit 130 of the $150 million or so that this is going to need. And so and it doesn't happen unless I think the feds pony up the money. But is this really something that is worth it? 855-616-1620. Mike in Cudahy. Mike, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just was saying to your producer, if you take a look at the bus lines that run in Milwaukee right now, they're totally empty day and night. I always joke with my wife, there goes the bus driver on his route.
Yeah.
Nobody's on these buses. Nobody's on the Hop. Nobody's on the E-Switch, which you mentioned is free now. And it's just a joke, this whole mass transit. We have no masses to transport. There are no one's using this infrastructure that we currently have. So that's my rant. I'm old. I can't help it.
Thanks. Well, it's not to say that nobody rides them, because there are some people that ride them. I'm looking. I think I have the numbers. The East-West bus rapid transit line that saves you 6 minutes. They say that has, what's the numbers here? I thought I saw it. They say that now it's free. So again, you can't tell how that's going to work out because it's free. It's recording an average of 3,500 rides per weekday. They had estimated, I think, 3,600, so a little bit below that. But again, it's free. So you can't really compare the county bus route. Again, we're talking the east-west route. The county bus route in 2019, like pre-COVID, that took, they say that had about 1,900 rides. So it's a lot more riders. But again, it's free. The question becomes what happens when people have to start paying. I mean, I guarantee you that 3,500 riders per day, that's going to drop. Is it going to drop all the way to 1,900? Well, probably not, but hopefully it won't, because we invested all this money in doing that. 855-616-1620. It's not a question of mass transit. It's a question of whether this is the best way you could spend $150 million of taxpayer money. Dennis in Milwaukee. Dennis, you're on WTMJ.
Hi, Jeff. How are you doing?
Good. What do you think?
Good. Well, I guess my comment is more on the BRT, the East-West BRT. I ride that several times a week, and I'm very pleased with the dedicated bus line. It is fast. Now, again, I don't ride it from the lakefront to Frederick. I ride it from the Story Hill neighborhood downtown. It is awfully fast and very efficient. Regarding the proposed BRT from Glendale to IKEA, I don't know about that, but I did ask somebody from the transit system at a recent meeting what the most heavily ridden bus line in Milwaukee was, and he said the 27th Street bus line. Now, that 27th Street line would be part of the proposed Glendale to IKEA. So I guess I've got an open mind on it. I'm not quite as pessimistic as you. I do enjoy, though, the speed that the BRT takes me from my home in Story Hill downtown.
Dennis, let me ask you this. Before they put in the BRT, did you ride the regular bus line from Story Hill to downtown?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, the regular bus line. The regular bus line. It used to be number 10. It was changed to the Gold line, and I did ride that.
How much time? And I'm just curious. How much quicker is the BRT? Because the whole route is 6 minutes quicker. So I'm wondering how much time you save picking it up essentially in the middle.
You know, I never timed it, but since there are so fewer stops, the savings just from Story Hill downtown certainly appear to be a lot more than 5 minutes. I can't believe how fast it gets me there. And again, that's because there's fewer stops.
Right.
I know a lot of my friends years ago who didn't ride the bus complained one of the reasons they didn't was that there were too many stops, where the BRT kind of eliminates that.
Okay, good enough. Well, thanks for the call. And I mean, I will be curious to see what happens when they start charging. Because again, right now the numbers are 3,500, which is a little bit below what they anticipated, but just a little bit. But it's free, So until you start charging people, because once you start charging people, people will make these different decisions. I don't know. Well, like I say, they say the difference is 36 and 29. I think it was 36. Now it's 29. So, but that's the whole route. That's 7 minutes. So I don't know if. So it can't be more than 7 minutes of savings because that's for the whole route. Maybe the fewer stops, knocks off a couple minutes or something like that. But again, I'm curious about this. I would argue that spending tens of millions of dollars to knock off a couple minutes is not a worthwhile expenditure, especially since that there was all sorts of other things that you could do if you wanted to speed it up, including let's not have as many stops. Let's give the bus drivers the ability to kind of alter the traffic lights so they could go through them a little bit easier. There was all sorts of things that are out there. I'm just looking at $150 million is a lot of money. And that's the projection now. Things are going to do nothing but go up in cost. That is a boatload of money. And is there enough demand? And I mean, I appreciate South 27th Street right now is probably a pretty busy thing. But if you put in a bus rapid transit line that people have to pay for, is it going to increase ridership enough to justify that? Or if you want to put in if you want to put in a bus rapid transit line, okay, 27th Street to downtown. I mean, I don't know what you're going to find really on 27th and Wisconsin Avenue, but running it all the way out to Bayshore adds tens of millions of dollars in cost to this. And are you going to be able to increase ridership enough to make it worthwhile? Now, again, I understand what's going to happen. A lot of people, you're just going to use it like they do now to go from Bayshore. When I was a kid, we used to, before we had driver's license, my buddies and I, we'd go over to Bayshore on Saturday morning and we'd hop on the Oakland, Delaware. I forget what the number is. But I remember that we'd go on Saturday morning and we'd hop on the Oakland, Delaware thing, and it would take you from Bayshore. It would take you through the east side. It would drop you off on the corner of Wisconsin and Water Street, and we'd wander up and down Wisconsin Avenue. This is back when there were stores on Wisconsin Avenue and things like that, and we'd go and we'd hang out and we'd do that sort of stuff. But that's what we did as kids. And nowadays, I'm not sure you'd let your unaccompanied, 13 or 14-year-olds be taking the bus down to the heart of downtown and wandering around. But this was a different time. But yeah, so I can understand where there might be some demand for that. But by spending all this money, are you going to increase the demand enough that it justifies the expense? Gus, who's giving us a call. Gus, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
The question I got is, would this bus BRT route swing close enough to make it usable for a run to the airport? So somebody wouldn't have to, Uber or leave their car there or anything. See, a friend of mine lives up on Bayshore, and they ran to the airport, and they got the car stolen at Mitchell. And I'm going, yeah, well, if something like this would have been in place, and they still run to the airport for Bayshore.
Yeah.
But if something like this is going to be in place, that might be really beneficial to somebody that needs to run to the airport. So would this thing be routed so that it would swing close enough to the airport to make it worthwhile for somebody to go to the airport if they had to?
Okay. At the risk of being corrected, I think the answer to your question is no. I don't think this is intended to be like an airport spur. And thanks for calling. I don't think so. I don't think this is intended. You'd still, at least the way I understand the route, you would still need to find some sort of last mile type of thing. Because this is not intended to go through the airport. I do not believe now. Because 27th Street. This is going to be running up and down 27th Street. That's a ways over from the airport. Now, somebody might correct me, but no, I do not believe that this is intended to be like here you can take the bus to the airport. It is interesting. When we when we came back, when I went to Chicago a few weeks ago on the Amtrak train, a couple months ago now, and there is now Amtrak stops at the airport, and so it is possible on Amtrak. For example, if you're coming up from Chicago and you want to fly out of Mitchell, yes, you can use that, and that'll do that. But I don't believe, at the risk of being corrected, I don't believe that this rapid bus line is intended as service to the airport. Let's talk to Mike in Crystal Lake. Mike, you're on WTMJ. Mike. Okay, lost Mike there. 855. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong button.
No.
Mike in Crystal Lake. Hi, Mike. Yep, my fault.
Hey.
My fault. I hit the wrong button.
Jeff.
I've only been doing this almost 30 years. I still hit the wrong button from time to time. Mike in Crystal Lake. Hi, Mike.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare Hey, there's another little angle on this. Now, the ridership doesn't exist. It's not a good deal. I get that part. But there probably is politicians saying it's only going to cost us $30 million to increase this. The rest comes from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we should be better citizens of the United States and say just because they want to give us $150 million, they're already $32 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something we ought to set aside.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's viewed as it's free money because, well, the Milwaukee County is not going to have to come up with it. It's yeah, but the taxpayers of Milwaukee County, all of us taxpayers are helping underwrite it with the money we send off to the IRS, every year. You're exactly right. There is no such thing as free money.
Yeah, and why should the federal government be giving out so much free money when they're so deep in debt?
Well, yeah.
And maybe it's just that local, state, municipalities, that type of thing, maybe they just need to say no to this free money, so to speak, coming from the government. You raise an outstanding point, Mike. Thanks for the call. It is. It's this idea that if it's the feds that are paying for it, well, we can spend it. My only question about this is, do you need it, and is it worth it? And see, that's always been my question about, mass transit sort of issues. I mean, for example, as I've said, I'm not anti-train. Am I anti-building a quote-unquote high-speed train from Milwaukee to Green Bay? Yes, because I don't think there's any way that you're going to have justifiable ridership. If you say, hey, do you think you could add a couple more train routes for the Hiawatha going from Milwaukee to Chicago? Absolutely, because I think that that's one that would end up working. If you're saying to me, Jeff, are you in favor of building the streetcar that runs on like a 2.1 mile loop and doesn't go anywhere? No, of course not. Everybody recognizes that that's dumb. On the other hand, if you said, gee, if we took a fraction of the money we spent on the streetcar and we put it and we invested in rubber-tired trolleys, for example, where we could run people around town when there's events. When there's Summerfest going on, we could go down there. But we're not going to run routes down to the lakefront in the middle of January when nobody's going there. Rubber-tired trolleys that could help people get to Fiserv Forum from around the city when the Bucks have a playoff game or something. Sure, that makes sense to me. But just, okay, we're going to run, we're going to spend money to extend a streetcar to take you to a location that nobody's going to at a particular time. And no, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not anti-mass transit. I'm just pro-common sense. But when it comes to this, we don't have a lot of common sense. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
Small business owners can make a little of anything go a long way.
It's true. My bakery is made up of a little sugar, spice, and edible glitter.
Well, that's why U.S. Cellular is offering small businesses lines for as little as $19.99, plus $300 off any phone.
That's great. A little does go a long way. Unless we're talking sprinkles, everyone always needs more sprinkles.
Oh, of course. Get lines for $19.99 plus $300 off any phone today. U.S. Cellular. Built for business. Built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
No showings, no closing costs, no staging, no real estate agent fees, no added stress.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee Hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin sports fans ask for? As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows that it takes a team effort to make things happen. And when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team you're looking for. Good luck to all Wisconsin teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Tell me, baby, one more time. Don't make me sit all alone and cry while it's over. I know it, but I can't let go. I'm like a fish out of water.
One of our goodbye songs. That's Lucinda Williams, one of my very, very favorite songs. Can't Let Go. Speaking of like going out to Fiserv Forum and things like that, I was I ended up watching the basketball game, yesterday, and one of the things the Bucks game yesterday, and of course they're going to be playing this in-season tournament. They're going to be playing in the semifinals. They're going to Las Vegas, and you can hear the game here. I think it's 4:30 that is tip-off. They're going to be in Las Vegas tomorrow. It's one of the interesting things about this is I ended up watching a good portion of the game on television yesterday, and I admit I get frustrated sometimes because nobody plays defense anymore, and it just nobody plays defense at all. The New York Knicks put up 122 points last night. And in many cases, I was watching some of this. It's just layup after layup. There's layup drills. They put up 122 points on the Bucks. Now, having said that, the Bucks scored 146. So it's difficult, I guess, to complain because you score almost 150 points. You're going to win in most regulation basketball games. So I guess the question becomes why complain if you're scoring 146 points? But it's still nobody plays defense anymore. And I guess it's just as I was watching the game, and I appreciate that you've got these incredibly talented offensive players, but I can't wrap my head around how a team is going to win an NBA championship if you're letting the opposition score 120, 130 points. And I understand the obvious answer is you score 146. It's just tough for me to believe that you're going to be able to score 146 every night. But it's not unique to the Bucks. The amount of points that are just being poured in, and which is a reflection on the talent of the offensive players and just the either the inability or unwillingness to play defense. I don't know exactly, but normally you would think you score 122 points and you should be winning most NBA games, but not last night because the Knicks still scored 122 points, and if you had the Knicks in 23, you would have still lost. I don't think too many people would have made that bet. So anyhow, the Bucks play the Indiana Pacers, who I think are the leading scoring team in the league. They play them tomorrow at 4:30. What's the over-under on at least one of those teams putting up 150 points? Who knows? All right. This used to be a much bigger deal. When I started doing this radio show back in the day, we'd always do segments and speculation about Time's Person of the Year, Time Magazine. Now, if I say Time Magazine, Aaron, have you ever read Time Magazine?
I've never read it, but I've seen the magazine covers.
You've seen the magazine cover, but you've never read it. Right. Well, okay. There was a time, and it seems to me it wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was long ago. But when, that was the thing. You'd get Time, and you'd have Newsweek, and you'd have U.S. News and World Report. And the Time Magazine Person of the Year was something that there was all sorts of specialization on and things like that, and people would focus on it and all this speculation. Who's this going to be? Now it's kind of like, who cares about Time Magazine, and who cares about who they think their Person of the Year is. That being said, the Time Person of the Year is out, and a lot of times they come up with weird ones that are somewhat controversial. This year, this one, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is Time's person of the year. Here's what they said. Picking one person who represents the 8 billion people on the planet is no easy task. We picked a choice that represents joy, someone who's bringing light to the world. Taylor Swift, she was like weather. She was everywhere. Taylor Swift beat out 8 other finalists, including King Charles III and Barbie. Well, okay, if you're asking me, who deserves more to be the person of the year, King Charles, Barbie, or Taylor Swift, I'm voting for Taylor Swift as well. So anyhow, the award goes to the person, individual, group, or concept, whatever that means, that has the most influence on the world throughout the previous 12 months. Okay, so that's Taylor. Maybe what we need to do is send her over to Ukraine and see if she can broker a deal with Russia and the Ukrainians, and then, send her over to the Middle East and see if you can cut a deal between Egypt and Israel and Palestine and Iran. Now that would really be an accomplishment. Back with more in just a minute.
More Jeff Wagner right after this.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at AccuNet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik for Flanners Home Entertainment. How about improving watching the team and the games this season by pulling the trigger on an upgrade to your TV and audio system from Flanners Home Entertainment? In an age of impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases, there is still our locally owned Flanners, where quality, service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Shop Flanners in West Allis, Grafton, and at Flanners.com. Flanners, sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Join in on the fun this holiday season with a trip to Winky's Hallmark and Gifts, where you will find something for everyone on your list. Shop from our vast selection of unique gifts and specialty souvenir items. Enjoy delicious candies and chocolates made locally and imported from Europe. Deck your halls with home decor and candles that will set the mood for any occasion. Visit us on the corner of Silver Spring and Lake Drive in Whitefish Bay, or shop online at winkiesgifts.com.
Gotta get to Winkies now.
Get 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. And if the weather turns south, we'll still hold your price for next year. So count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE, Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
Looking for top-notch personal protection? The Smith & Wesson Equalizer is here to level the playing field. Easy to rack slide, easy to control ergonomic grip. It's designed for you. With a 10, 13, and 15-round magazine included, size up for better control or size down for easier concealment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to upgrade your safety. Visit your local dealer now. To learn more about the Equalizer, visit smith-wesson.com. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. All capacity sizes may not be available in your jurisdiction. Be sure to check your local laws and regulations.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
All right, here is one thing I know for certain. The fourth Republican presidential debate is going to be held tonight in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. There's going to be four candidates left. Remember, it started out with 8. Now there are 4. Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramas, whatever, and Chris Christie. And of course, the sooner Chris Christie and Rama's whatever go away, the better it's going to be. And then ultimately, the sooner a clear challenger to Donald Trump and it becomes, one-on-one, the sooner that emerges, I think the better it's going to be for Republicans, et cetera, et cetera. I know, Aaron producing the show today, I know who the winner of this debate is going to be. No question about it. They have not cracked the mics. I know who the winner is. Want to know who the winner is?
Who is it?
The winner is going to be, drum roll please, News Nation, which is the station that is carrying this debate. News Nation is, it's one of these it's originated as kind of an alternative, maybe a more conservative version of Fox News. And while the number of people watching News Nation has gone up a little bit, it's only a little bit. For example, typically prime time, which on the East Coast is 8 to 11, in that period, 8 to 11, so far this year, News Nation draws 109,000 viewers. Okay, so just to give you a perspective, Fox has 2.2 million. News Nation has 109,000. MSNBC has 1.5 million. News Nation has 109,000. CNN has 649,000. News Nation has 109,000. So by getting this debate, they end up winning. And my guess, and in fairness to News Nation, the number of people who've watching it over the last couple of years has increased, but still it's a minor player in the cable news game. So tonight you've got Megyn Kelly. Remember Megyn Kelly from Fox News, and then later on from MSNBC, from NBC. Megyn Kelly is going to be, one of the moderators. Elizabeth Vargas, remember her? She's going to be one of the moderators as well. So you'll have this going on now. How do you find News Nation? Well, you're going to probably have to look on your cable TV settings. Also, it's going to be broadcast on the CW. So you'll be able to find it. But look, before a question is asked, News Nation is the winner because I guarantee you their numbers, they're going to do more than 109,000 people who are going to watch this debate. So just by virtue of being one of the players in the game, they win. They win. Now, whether they can sustain this beyond that, I don't know. And it is going to be interesting to see. I'm going out to dinner with some old friends. So, but I will record the debate, and I'll come back about 9:30 tonight, and I'll fire it up, and I intend to watch that, and I intend to record the Marquette basketball game and watch that. So if I come in bleary-eyed tomorrow, well, it's just because I was watching sports and I was watching the debate. But News Nation, big winner. When we come back, I thought this was a curious thing for President Biden to say. When we come back, I thought this was a curious thing for former President Trump to say. We'll talk about both. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
WTMJ Now with Steve Scafidi.
Expectations have to meet reality.
Get the latest news.
And just knowing what I know about Donald Trump, he's not going to fare well when things go badly for him.
Hear the opinions.
I don't like it. I don't want it.
All in Wisconsin.
I have friends who are vegans. I accommodate them when they're at my house. Vegetables don't offend me.
You have 7 trees in your house?
Well, let's be honest. My wife has 7. I just live there.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on WTMJ.
The Christmas holiday shopping season is on. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Let me make it easy for you. I'm a huge Mine Shaft restaurant fan. It's been family owned for over 46 years. It's super affordable and super fun. The perfect holiday gift is a Mine Shaft gift card because everyone loves a delicious and affordable breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And check this out. Buy a $100 gift card this week, get a $20 gift card free. Buy $250, get $50 free. Purchase Mine Shaft gift cards for your loyal employees and clients. They're going to love it. Book your holiday company party, office party, or family get-together in the Mine Shaft's free party rooms. They'll create a menu and party to fit your budget. The huge game room adds a ton of fun for your kids and, I must say, for the adults. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh right off the interstate. Buy a $100 gift card, get 20 free. Book your holiday party and order your gift cards at mineshaftrestaurant.com. Stop this week. Just walk in. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
Everyone's journey after a serious crash is different, but no matter the circumstances, the one thing you'll need is help. Our team at Gruber Law Offices is here for you 24/7. Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Honey, you're dusting again?
I can't keep up. It's crazy.
I don't want you to have to do that.
I hate it so much.
We need to call Capital.
What do?
They clean your ducts with high-powered trucks.
That cuts the dust?
Cuts the dust.
Because our air is only going to get worse.
Now that our windows are closed for the season, yeah.
And the holidays are coming.
We don't want everybody sneezing all over the place. I'll call them.
Already got it.
Oh.
Yeah, Capital, please save us.
Our duct cleaning technicians are standing by
to get you ready for the holidays.
And save you time and trouble. And kerosene. That's right. Cut the dust.
And breathe cleaner air.
Capital does over 1,000 duct cleanings every year.
Yeah, now is the perfect time to get your ducts clean.
Before Capital's holiday rush starts.
Let Capital Heating, Cooling, and Electric save your holidays and clean your ducts today. Schedule online at callcapitalcares.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Excel Concrete Coatings, the family-owned company that transformed my garage and will give your concrete surface a brand new look, feel, and function. Colder weather, perfect time to redo your commercial space with a beautiful new coating on your concrete floor. Or one of my buddies here got the scary old laundry room redone. And with Excel Concrete Coatings, it's quite affordable. Most projects start as low as $1,500. Call the owners of Excel Concrete Coatings directly. That's Greg and Luann. ExcelConcreteCoatings.com.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health Medicare Advantage plans start at $0 a month? And you can get the extra benefits you need, like dental, vision, over-the-counter items, and more? I know because I'm a member myself. Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Bridgelawns.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Your hometown hub for everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it is 38 degrees, mostly cloudy skies today, a high of 40. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Other lives will be saved thanks to a Milwaukee police officer who is in grave condition following a car crash in Oak Creek Sunday night.
My heart's in a million little pieces.
Julia Nowak posting on YouTube about her husband.
A lot of people are hurting right now. And I'm really hurting.
Nowak's partner was Officer Peter Jerving, who was shot and killed in the line of duty earlier this year. The news this week is a punch to the gut for the men and women of MPD.
It's a brotherhood and sisterhood. They get through it together. There's strength in that togetherness.
Germantown Police Chaplain Greg Young tells WTMJ Now that knowing Nowak's organs will be donated can help the healing process.
Knowing that other lives are living because of his.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for the Nowak family. You can find it at WTMJ.com and the WTMJ mobile app. Decision Wisconsin. 10 Republicans from this state who posed as fake electors for former President Donald Trump are now admitting they were trying to help overturn President Joe Biden's victory in 2020.
In a settlement to a civil lawsuit, the electors acknowledged Joe Biden won Wisconsin, and they say their actions were, quote, part of an attempt to improperly overturn the 2020 presidential election results. This settlement marks the first time any Trump electors have revoked their filings purporting Trump had won. Fake electors were charged in Georgia and in Michigan. There is no known criminal investigation taking place here, and those fake electors have also agreed not to serve as electors in 2024. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The Raymond School Board set to make what could be another controversial move this evening after a tumultuous few months for the Racine County School District. The board will be voting on the final decision to not renew the contract of the Raymond School principal, Jeff Peterson. Peterson remains on administrative leave and has filed a complaint against the district, alleging he's being discriminated against for being gay. The meeting, which is expected to be held in closed session, kicks off at 5 p.m. We'll have much more on this story on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. A new bill with bipartisan support in Madison could offer added protections for student journalists.
There are 4 key issues Assembly Bill 551 hopes to address. The bill would grant public college students the right to exercise freedom of speech and of the press in school-sponsored media. Additionally, school officials would be prohibited from limiting what students can cover. Schools would also be required to adopt a freedom of speech policy and set up an appeal process for students, and would be unable to discipline student journalists and their advisors for acting in accordance with the bill by administration. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. It's the Annex Wealth Management Market Update. All in the red, but not down very much. The Dow is down only 4 points. The S&P only down a little over 6.5. The NASDAQ in the furthest hole, it's down about 27 points. It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/taxsmart. Sports, traffic, and weather now coming up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:04.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often, because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved. But here, you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
When you're in pain, you're all ears to any and everybody telling you they can help you. And at Rejuvenex, we're one of them. And there are others. But the difference here is that in most cases, insurance covers the cost of our treatments, because our proprietary and powerful pain relief treatments are FDA approved. Others, like bioregenerative options, aren't covered by insurance, because they're not FDA approved and considered experimental. At Rejuvenex, our treatments are precisely administered to where your pain lives, to cushion and lubricate your affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief, sometimes as long as 2 years before our next treatment is needed. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
The Milwaukee Bucks are officially headed to the Sin City after beating the New York Knicks in the NBA's in-season tournament quarterfinals on Tuesday night. This one by a final score of 146-122.
Middleton lobs up to Giannis, who sends it down with a two-hand jam on another alley-oop. Oh, the rim's going to feel that one tomorrow.
With the win, the Bucks now advancing to the semifinals of the in-season tournament. They will travel to Vegas to take on the Indiana Pacers on Thursday. Tip-off is set for 4 p.m. Over to college hoops, where it's now 6 straight wins for the Wisconsin Badgers as they go on to beat Michigan State on Tuesday night by a final of 70-57 to improve to 7-2 on their season. Next up for the 23-ranked Badgers is a date with the number 1 team in the country, the Arizona Wildcats, on Saturday afternoon. And lastly, the Marquette Golden Eagles will look to bounce back after their loss to Wisconsin last weekend. The 8th-ranked Golden Eagles will play host to 12th-ranked Texas tonight at Pfizer Forum. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Things are mostly looking good. No accidents to report. Pretty much no slowdowns. It's only one highway you're going to see any slowdowns on. No surprises here. It's 43 southbound, Brown Deer to downtown. Currently a 16-minute ride. That's about a 5-minute delay. Those brake lights are going to start up around, it looks like, Hampton all the way up to Silver Spring. So Silver Spring down south of Capitol past Keefe all the way down to Locust. You're going to see pretty slow going as you get closer to the downtown on the Marquette Interchange. Things start looking good.
Traffic is sponsored by Wagner Compressor, ready to service any facility at pressureisoff.biz.
Servicing world-class Wisconsin manufacturers for 9 decades. Contact Wagner Compressor at pressureisoff.biz.
Wagner Compressor.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly cloudy skies with a high of 40 today. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, a low of 35. Thursday, mostly sunny, breezy and mild, a high up to 50. Friday, we're going to get up to 54. It'll still be mostly sunny and breezy. Saturday, back down to mostly cloudy skies, a high of 47 and some chances of rain. On Sunday, we'll have a chance of rain and snow, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 38. Right now in Madison, it is 38. In Green Bay, it's 34. In Waukesha, it's 35. And in Milwaukee, it is 38 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmar-Pooley. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's the Jeff Wagner Show. Now, here's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Welcome back to the show. All right, I would say this is a good start. Governor Tony Evers, earlier today, signed into law a bill that will make personal financial literacy classes a graduation requirement for all Wisconsin students. The bill requires, starting with the graduating class of 2028, they must complete at least half a credit of personal financial literacy in order to graduate from the school district. Let's see. That includes learning concepts like household budgeting, consumer financing, insurance decisions, and retirement planning. All right, here's how I look at this. First of all, good to the as far as it goes. But what's this half credit stuff? I mean, seriously, I think you can make a very strong argument. We've talked about this before over the years. I think you can make a very strong argument that if part of the purpose of high school is to prepare young people for what comes next, I think a personal financial literacy course, I think it should be at least 3 credits, which would be one semester, one full-time course. I mean, seriously, how for the half a credit, how do you explain household budgeting, consumer financing, insurance decisions, retirement planning, all of these things? How do you do it in the space of a half a credit? And the answer is you don't, other than, there's concepts of insurance. I mean, I think, again, we should be serious about this, and you should be looking at least, this is a requirement. We have requirements that you have to meet, basic standards for reading and arithmetic and things like that, and that's all well and good, but at least like 3 credits for basic financial planning. Think about what happens. A kid turns 18, young person turns 18, they become an adult. That they know nothing about how to balance a checkbook, how to write checks, how to watch their bank accounts, what different types of bank accounts there are. They have no idea that, if you get credit cards, because keep in mind, as soon as somebody gets out of high school, they're going to be getting all sorts of solicitations for credit cards. Well, all right, do you understand, what happens and what the interest rate on credit cards are? And that if you, just make your minimum payment on credit cards, you're going to be paying for that dinner that you had, you're going to be paying for it for the next 4 or 5 years. And I have nothing against credit cards. It's just a question of explaining, because I think one of the reasons we're in the mess that we are when it comes to student loan debt is because a lot of people just had no clue what it was that they were getting into. Oh, well, I want to go to this school, so here, and the government's going to give me this money, so here, I'm going to sign off on it, without recognizing that there will be a day of reckoning at some point in time. So, yeah, I mean, household budgeting, I think, is important. Oh, you want to move out with your buddy? Great. All right, but these are the expenses. You're going to have to pay these things called utilities. You want your cell phone. You're going to have to pay for that. You want to buy a car. Okay, well, that's great, but you're going to have to buy insurance. Well, what type of insurance do you need to buy? All these different types of things that people find out in many respects the hard way, because they go and they make their mistakes. And I'm all in favor of a financial literacy course. It just seems to me that half a credit is kind of, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. And I do believe that we should do it. And I think school districts, now just because the state requires a half a credit doesn't mean that school districts around the state can't exceed that. And candidly, I think this should be mandatory, a financial literacy course to just let kids know these are the things. You could do 3 weeks on household budgeting. You could do 3 weeks on consumer financing, insurance. Gee, well, what's insurance? Why do I need that sort of stuff? Retirement planning, even a section on that. This this is just rife with opportunities, and I think certainly more than a half a credit. So I think this is good, but it's what I would call a first step. All right. I actually sent out a tweet on this yesterday because I've been interested to see the way the mainstream media spun this story, because I had a completely different take on this. And if you follow me on Twitter, or X or whatever we call it now, it's at Jeff Wagner Radio. All right, Joe Biden, who I can't figure out why he's running again. And I said this before, and I'm trying to take the politics out of it. But Biden's an old man, and it is apparent to everybody, independents, Republicans, Democrats, that he's slipping. I mean, and you understand that. I mean, the people slow down. I'm in my 60s. My reflexes aren't what they were in the 40s. I don't have as much energy as I had when I was 30. I appreciate that. And I think, most people know when it's time to kind of step back from the stage. One of the things that I think gives lots of voters pause, Republican, Democrat, and Independent, is the fact that most people believe that at the age of, he'll be 82 if he were reelected, that's too old. And a 4-year term means he's 86. And as we've talked about before, you get to a point, especially when skills and things start to deteriorate, a lot of times it's not a slow glide path. It's like you've gone off a cliff. And I think lots of people who've dealt with aging grandparents or aging parents can tell you that that's the story. So in all honesty, other than just ego, here, I like being the leader of the free world, and I like being able to say, hey, I want to jump on Air Force One and fly wherever I want to fly. I've just, from Biden's perspective, I just keep thinking, he would be doing himself and his family and then actually the country just a service if he said, look, I've had a great run. I've done all these wonderful things, and now I'm going to retire and I'm going to run my foundation and I'm going to hang out with my kids, whatever you want to do. I actually think it's extremely selfish to run again from Biden's perspective. So I've wondered what motivates him. Is this the Potomac fever? Is this the attitude that nobody else can do this job? I'm the only one who can do this, as opposed to saying, okay, maybe it's time to pass the torch to a new generation of Democratic leaders. I'm not even talking politics here. Maybe it's time to find, maybe it's Kamala Harris. Maybe it's Gavin Newsom out of California. Maybe it's the governor of New York. I don't know. But is it time to pass the torch to this next generation of leaders, these young whippersnappers who are in their 50s and their 60s? So I've really been wondering what it is that drives a guy like Biden to want to stay when he clearly should go. And why if the people around him are telling him, oh, you got to run, you got to run, you got to run, even given the reality that he might not win, in part because there's just a lot of people who think he's just too flat old. So I've been wondering what motivates him. Well, yesterday, he's at this closed-door fundraiser, and somebody apparently talks. He's in Boston, and, I think somebody asks him essentially that question that I just asked. Mr. President, why are you running? And by the way, let me just take a step back. One of the things that the point I've been trying to make over the course of the last several months that some of you don't like to hear is I want to hear from candidates who have a vision of the future. I mean I don't want to rehash the 2020 election. I'm done with that. That's in the rearview mirror. I don't want to rehash decisions that were made 4 or 6 or 8 years ago, unless they are relevant to making decisions moving forward. I want to hear from candidates about what are you going to do to make my life better? What are you going to do to make the American public's life better? What is your vision of the future? And I haven't heard that articulated by Donald Trump. More on Trump in a couple of minutes. And I certainly haven't heard it articulated by Joe Biden. So what's the vision? So anyhow, he's at this closed-door fundraiser, and somebody says, Mr. President, what's going on? I mean, why are you running? And here's what he says. If Trump, quote, if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running. But we cannot let him win. And then the New York Times writes, the president's remarks came at a time when polls show that most Democrats would prefer somebody other than Mr. Biden, who turned 81 last month, to represent the party in next year's election. Our number is 855-616-1620, which is the old National Bank talk and text line. The text line does not work and probably isn't going to work for a couple of weeks, I'm being told. So we're old school now. We're doing it the way we originally did it, with just the phone lines. But I'm listening to this, and my reaction is, this is the guy's vision? I mean, you ask the President of the United States, why do you want another 4 years as the leader of the free world? And he says, well, I'm not sure I would be running, except I want to stop Donald Trump. Now, I guess there's a couple things that jump out at me. First of all, I think if I was a Democrat, I'd be making the strong argument that there's a lot of other candidates that are out there that candidly would be, if Trump is in fact the Republican nominee, and I continue to believe he's not going to be, but let's put that aside. If Trump were the nominee, that there's a lot of other candidates out there who would have a greater chance of beating Trump because they don't have the various baggage, starting with the fact that he's too darn old, that Biden has. So, but secondly, I'm thinking this is your reason. This is your raison d'etre. This is your motivation that, I think, I want to do this because I don't want it to be him. What does that say? I mean, if I'm a Democrat voter, I'm like, wait, that's not a vision of the future. That's give me somebody else, because if that's the best you got, Mr. President, we got to be able to do better than that. Now, the way this gets spun by the mainstream media is, this shows how important Biden is to think to stop Trump as a threat to democracy. Well, okay, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying I got nothing other than I've decided that I think I've got the best chance to beat Donald Trump. Well, it is for the good of this country. Is that in and of itself enough of a reason to want to be the leader of the free world? And even from Democrats, don't you want somebody that has a bigger vision of that? And again, the reality is too, I think, you put Trump against Biden and you've got, a lot of Americans holding their breath and trying to figure out, who they'll vote for, if anyone. You put Trump against maybe a younger, more energetic candidate, and I don't think the election ends up getting close. I actually think Biden gives the Democrats a much greater chance to lose to Trump, contrary to his argument that I'm the only one. But nevertheless, that's not the vision that I want to hear. Just like I don't want to hear Trump talking about how he's going to punish people for the 2020 election. I want Republicans talking about the future. I want a Democrat talking about the future. Is that too much to ask? 855-616-1620. Guy in Brookfield. Guy, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Well, I agree completely. I just tell you this. Biden is an empty suit. He's old, just being pushed by his progressive, Democrats. And Dr. Jill, she's embarrassed that keeping him on stage.
Thanks for the call, Guy. I mean, look, I am sort of interested because a lot of times it's the family members that tell people when it's time to go. I was watching a documentary on Lady Bird Johnson. It's on Hulu. And as a matter of fact, I fell asleep in the middle of it, which was more of a reflection of the fact that I was tired as opposed to it not being good. So I went back last night or 2 nights ago, and I watched it in its entirety. It's really fascinating. It's excerpts from her. She would tape from her tape diary, and then they intersperse it with news clips and things like that. And it's very, very apparent that 1968, her husband Lyndon Johnson, who was not in necessarily great health, who was overwhelmed and the mishandling of the Vietnam War and stuff, and she was one of the leading people who went to him and pushed him into not running for another term. Now, I mean, he ultimately made his own decision, but she, instead of saying, "Oh, Lyndon, I like flying around on Air Force One," she was like, "You need to, it's time for you to move on." Jill Biden could be doing the same thing, but I think she likes being the first lady. So it's here, Joe. Let's take another nap and let's get on the planes and things like that. So you wonder if there's people close to him that are telling him, hey, if your real goal is to stop Donald Trump, if he is the nominee, maybe the best thing you could do for the Democratic Party is to get out of the way and let it be somebody else. Let's talk to, let's see, Ron, giving us a call on a cell phone. Ron, you're on WTMJ. Hello.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What do you think?
I believe that he's running for president so that Kamala Harris can be president because she wouldn't get in there in an election.
So you think what happens is
that
let me see. So you think he runs, and then somewhere in the first year of his second term or something, he steps down because of health reasons or whatever, and she automatically becomes the president. You think that's kind of this big plan?
Right, because they're big on history. They always want to have history. They'd have a female minority president then. I'm saying that he's doing it because he's the only one that would beat Trump. He's the reason that Trump would get in. They need a different Democrat to run.
Well, I mean, Ron, I mean, thanks. I don't know about the, we want to win and then anoint Kamala Harris, but I am with you about, and that's the other thing. I'm the only one who can stop Trump. I mean, somebody should have said, well, Mr. President, actually, you're probably the one that gives Trump the best chance to win because of all this baggage that you bring into the campaign. You get out of the way, and we have a new, fresh face, and it's a completely different conversation. And you take the age issue off the table, and then I do believe that. I think if you would do a head-to-head matchup with Donald Trump and I don't know about Kamala Harris, but certainly the governor of California, Newsom, and maybe a handful of others, Trump ends up getting crushed because, if you put Trump against Biden, you got a lot of people who just don't think Biden's done a very good job and has all this other baggage, and they're willing to overlook the baggage that former President Trump has. You bring in a new face, and I think it's a completely different dynamic. If that's really the motivation, I want to make sure Trump doesn't get in. My argument would be, Joe Biden, just like you said, Ron, Joe Biden is one of the best chances that he's going to do that. John on the north side. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am John from the north side.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think we could be fair. Let's get rid of both of them. Let's get that nuisance guy in there, and let's get that Nikki Haley, and end it. How hard could that be? I don't understand. You're going to mess up the whole world trying to fool around with Trump with all that baggage and fool around with Biden. And I love Biden. I'm a Democrat, but I just believe that neither one of them should be in there. And I think that we're wasting time fooling with this. Why has Trump got to be in there? I don't understand it. Is he just want to get out of jail? I'd rather tell him, well, look, we forgive you for everything. You won't go to jail. Just go away. I'd rather do that.
John, thanks for the call. Well, putting aside the fact that you love Biden, because I don't love Biden, but I agree with every sentiment you have with regard to, and I think, John, this is one of those times where Republicans and Democrats come together, at least the majority of us, and certainly a lot of independent voters. We want something else. I'm pounding the table here. Is that going out over the radio? I'm pounding the table. Oh, my producer said you can hear a little bit about that. All right, let's pound a little bit more there. I've got 8 shows left. What the heck? We'll pound a little bit more. No, we want something else. I mean, this is just if you're sitting at your kitchen table listening to me, if you're driving in your car, this is the time. Just take one hand off the wheel if you can do it safely. Just bang on that steering wheel. Bang on the table. We want something else. We want something else. We don't want 2020 redo. All right, we want to move on. We want to look towards the future, whatever that might look like. Give us an alternative to an 82-year-old guy who is clearly failing. Give us an alternative to a 77-year-old guy who has, everybody's got baggage. Some people pack heavier than others. Donald Trump, when it comes to baggage, he's got a whole boxcar full of baggage. Give us somebody with less baggage. We want someone else. Let's have this dialogue about policies instead of worrying about the personalities and something like that. Is that too much to ask for? I continue to believe, as someone who has great faith in the American people, I continue to believe that at the end of the day, to use that cliche, we're going to collectively come to that conclusion. And Republicans are going to say, we want a different choice, somebody who's not under indictment or criminal charges of crimes in 4 separate jurisdictions, who talks about Sean Hannity yesterday. They're doing this interview with Trump, and they say, well, he throws Trump this softball, saying, okay, there's people that are concerned that you're going to, like throw out the Constitution and stuff. And his first response is, okay, well, I'm thinking maybe on day one I will be a dictator. And then we're gonna start locking up illegal aliens, and then we're gonna start drilling and drilling and drilling. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is how you answer that question. But it's classic Trump. You don't expect anything different. But do we want to deal with this for another 4 years? For goodness sakes, do you want to deal with old Joe Biden? No, we want something else. That should be the bumper sticker. See, and this is one that, again, it doesn't matter whether you're conservative, liberal, Republican, or Democrat. We should all be able to put that bumper sticker saying, we want something else. Will we get it? Don't know. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
More Jeff Wagner right after this. Your weekly Bucks breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert with some good news. Mortgage rates are back down. Low overhead AccuNet can once again deliver a 6.94% APR on a $225,000 30-year fixed rate loan with 25% down, top-notch credit, and all the other right stuff. Our special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers is also down to 6.375%. That's with an APR as low as 6.6 and as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply. A lot of homebuyers have hit pause because of the holiday season and the spike in rates, but that's now in our rearview mirror. Winter is a great time to buy. There's a lot less competition and sellers are motivated. We just helped our repeat client Peter get an accepted offer to buy his next home, and he got it for a little under asking price. Whether you're just starting your home search or you're ready to get back at it, click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today and put the local mortgage gurus at AccuNet on your home buying team. That's ACCUNET.com.
'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them all throughout the holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From spectacular brunch events to a holiday marketplace to one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at the hotel. Special packages are now available. Make your plans today to celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you want to upgrade and transform your current bathroom space, I've got you covered. It's Sidex. Sidex just did the work in our house, took out the old bathtub, put in a beautiful walk-in shower. It is stunning. The process streamlined and efficient. Sidex is the company I trust. Sidex is the company doing the work in our bathroom and our house. My wife is so happy. They have changed our bathroom space. It's incredible. Joe, living the legacy of his dad, Sanford. It's incredible. They're family-owned since 1988. Free shower door upgrade when you mention John Mercure. Sidex. Check out the guys I trust at Sidex.
This is Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
I am so very glad to have you with us. My producer Aaron says, Jeff, we're a little bit behind playing the commercial. You know, we got to catch up, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, I'm retiring in like 7 or 8 days. You know what's the worst? No, we will get the commercial. We had a former sales manager, my friend Tom, and Tom, that would be the thing. I knew he would listen, and he'd always say, I heard the show today, and I said, well, how would you think of it? He said, you got all the commercials played. That was it. It was like, okay, as long as you're playing the commercials, we will. I promise we will catch up. There is a breaking news story that I'm sure Greg and Amy Taylor will have more about. The reports are reports of a shooting with multiple victims on the UNLV campus. If you go to Las Vegas, and I know a lot of you do, you pretty much go past, there's really no way to get from the airport to the Strip without at least seeing a portion of the campus of UNLV, or at least like the arena where they play the basketball games and stuff like that in. So we're waiting more details about that, but reports of a shooting with multiple victims on the UNLV campus. People, I've been taking kind of a retrospective look at the, after doing a radio show in this market full or part-time for going on 30 years, people have been saying, what are some of the changes? And one of the things that's definitely changed is our reaction to these mass shootings. They were not common 30 years ago. And now it's just like, oh, well, here's a breaking news story. There's another one. I vividly remember when Columbine happened. And I mean, Columbine, the reaction that we had on this program and on other programs, we talked about that for a couple of weeks. How could kids be so disillusioned that they would do this and you have a school shooting? And now, unfortunately, school shootings, I don't want to say they occur every day because they don't, but now it's kind of like, oh, there's been another sort of school shooting. It really has, the rise of these mass shootings is really that's one of these kind of dominant stories, and it looks like there might have been something that happened there. We've talked about this a couple times, and I admit this is one of these issues where I see both sides of the issue. Menthol cigarettes, and I'm not a smoker, so I don't have a horse in this particular race. Menthol cigarettes are much more, I want to say, addictive in that because they're on the minority community, and in an effort to try to, again, curtail cigarette smoking, the Biden administration, through the FDA, had proposed all these regulations which would essentially ban menthol cigarettes. And you can make arguments on both sides of this issue, but there was a huge blowback, not just by cigarette manufacturers, but also by lots of smokers and things like that. Huge lobbying effort. And the update on this is the ban on menthol cigarettes that Biden had rolled out, it's going to be delayed. In particular, the way Washington Post says is the Biden administration will further delay a ban on menthol cigarettes after a fierce lobbying from critics who warned that a prohibition could anger some black smokers who favor the products and could hurt President Biden's re-election prospects, administration officials said. All right, my head is again getting ready to explode. Regardless of how you feel about whether menthol cigarettes should be banned, the reason the Biden administration has decided we're going to hold off on the ban on menthol cigarettes, not because we don't think it's a good thing, or not because we don't think it's practical, but we need black voters, and we're afraid black voters who are disproportionately smokers of menthol cigarettes, we think they may be mad at us. So we're not going to go ahead with the ban until after the election. It is no way to run a country. I mean, if it's the right thing to do, and I say if it's the right thing to do, for the love of God, do it. But no, we're not going to do it because we're afraid we might anger black smokers and they might not vote for us. Oh, my gosh. I was actually thinking of a different word, but we'll just say, oh, my gosh, and leave it at that.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me as we count down to the RNC in Milwaukee. We'll talk to the biggest names across the political landscape. Mark Cassie's the editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Every national outlet in terms of the media is going to have a key spot around the arena. So they're going to be working on that over the next couple months.
Full podcast available on WTMJ.com or text RNC to the Old National Bank talk and text line 855-616-1620 and get a link sent directly to you. It's the countdown to the RNC podcast, only here on WTMJ.
Stop into Ken Michaels Furniture for our sale on Bradington Young. Made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, Bradington Young is an American icon in quality leather upholstery. Whether you are looking for power recliners or stationary seating, Bradington Young's furniture is made with enduring quality, outstanding comfort, and timeless styling. Save up to 40% now on Bradington Young upholstery at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield and Greenfield. Visit us today. Give yourself the gift of sound sleep with a mattress set from Ken Michaels Furniture and Milwaukee Mattress. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses are custom built to your specifications. We offer special sizing, waterproofing, extra cushioning, and a variety of other options to accommodate your needs. Buy a mattress and a box spring set this week and get free delivery. For the best sleep of your life, stop into Ken Michaels Furniture on Highway 100 in Greenfield and Capitol Drive in Brookfield.
So I came to Advent because I was experiencing recurrent sinus infections. As a new mom, it was really kind of difficult.
Many of our patients complain of sinus infections. The headaches, fatigue, and nasal stuffiness have a profound effect on their lives.
I just felt like your sickness starts affecting your energy level and, the things that you really enjoy doing. That really was a breaking point for me.
So Molly came to Advent. Abnormally tight sinuses and swollen turbinates led to simple breathing triangle solutions that ended up taking about 20 minutes in office. And very soon thereafter, she was breathing freely.
I'm just in awe at the amount of air that that I'm able to breathe in and out each night, and I haven't had a sinus infection since the procedure.
I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. When you breathe well, you do live better.
Results may vary. Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
All right, as long as let me be a bipartisan, my head is going to explode. So we just talked about the Biden administration who wants to ban menthols. The FDA wants to ban menthol cigarettes. We've had that conversation. Again, you can agree one way or the other whether it's the right decision. I'm not a smoker, don't take a position. But the Biden administration decided we want to do this because we think menthol is kind of a gateway thing. We think cigarette smoking is bad. This encourages more people to do it. It has a disproportionate impact on the black community. And so we want to show our concerns. We want to save people's lives. Okay, they believe that. But now the reports are they've taken the ban on menthol cigarettes off the table, not because they've changed their thinking, but because they're afraid that they might make black voters angry and the black voters might not vote for Joe Biden in 2024. That's just crazy. I mean, if you think it's the right thing to do it. And if you don't think it's the right thing to do, then knock it off. But, we're not going to do this because we don't want some people to be mad at us, even though we believe it's the right thing. This other story is a variation of this. And I know that there are some of you who disagree with me on the whole issue of Ukraine. I firmly believe that it is in our interest to stop Ukraine from being overrun by Russia. First of all, I do believe there's a bit of a domino theory here. If Vladimir Putin thinks he can get away with taking land, he will continue to take land. And, if today it's Ukraine, tomorrow after they build back the Russian military, it's Poland or Finland or something else. In addition, what's been going on in Ukraine has dramatically degraded the Russian military. You have the Russian armaments are being drained. You have Russian soldiers that are, being injured and stuff. And I don't wish for that. But Putin is destroying his military in Ukraine. And my argument is if we agree that Russia is the evil empire, and I think most of us do, wouldn't you rather be fighting Ukraine, in Ukraine as opposed to, I don't know, somewhere, in other parts of Eastern Europe? I mean, if you're going to battle Russia, this is a great spot to do it. I also think that there are other countries that are watching the reaction of the United States and the West to how we handle this. After Biden cut and ran in Afghanistan, that sent a message across the world. And again, I understand reasonable people can disagree about whether or not we should have been in Afghanistan for as long as we were. But Biden's decision to say, okay, we're gone, and essentially pick up stakes and run with our tail between our legs sent the message that, we're not going to support our allies. And if you think that part of the decision to invade Ukraine wasn't based on what we did in Afghanistan, my response, again, would be make sure you tuck your shoulder when you fall off the turnip truck so you don't hurt yourself. So there's no doubt in my mind that China is watching what our reaction is. And, is the West going to continue to support, the Ukraine in their battle against Russia? Or because we have a limited attention span, are we going to move on to something else? Are we going to cut and run? So, but I go back to the major point. If we got to fight Russia, I would much rather have Russia being fought to a standstill and required to expend all these resources, men and material. I'd rather have it be going on in Ukraine as opposed to just, okay, we're going to let Ukraine be dominated. So that's my theory. But for that to happen, The United States has to continue to support Ukraine. That's just it. And what's going on in the Senate today, head-exploding moment, because you have a number of Republicans who are apparently not willing to vote on supporting Ukraine and continuing to provide them with ammunition, et cetera, because they're unhappy with what's going on at the border. And so they want to link the border, which has nothing to do with Ukraine, with funding for Ukraine. And again, this is what I hate about politics. All right, let's have a decision, up or down, whether or not we want to support Ukraine. Don't put these poison pill things in it and say, well, I'm not going to support Ukraine because I don't like what's going on at the border. Don't decide on its merits, should we be supporting Ukraine? I vote yes. And if you decide we should be supporting Ukraine, then let's support Ukraine. And then, the border, let's deal with the border issue on its merits as well. And if people don't like the response and the fact that we've got these porous borders and the Biden border policy has been a disaster, okay, that's all well and good too. Then vote Joe Biden out next November. Vote the Democrats in the Senate who are, implementing that failed border policy. Vote them out. But let's not hold Ukraine hostage if we think it's a good thing to do. Just saying.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this.
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Are you sick of all the fancy charts and investment mumbo-jumbo thrown at you to justify the Wall Street fees you're being charged? It's not the size of your nest egg that matters, but rather the income it can produce. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who have retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right, if the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better, stress-free retirement, call today to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie, The Retirement Deception. Call 800-857-7979. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. Plus, I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now, 800-857-7979. 800-857-7979. That's 800-857-7979.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Pain relief and gimmicks. The two seem to go hand in hand, and it really is a shame, because when you're living with chronic pain, you're vulnerable. And that's why so many people get tricked into buying unproven treatments. At Rejuvenex, we understand how you suffer, how you wait to get out of bed because you know the pain is coming. Chronic pain from osteoarthritis is a terrible thing, and that's why we use our proprietary, powerful, FDA-approved treatments to precisely target your affected areas, to provide cushion and lubrication that helps deliver long-lasting pain relief in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We're in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Rejuvenex.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
All right, the other big news from yesterday was a Dane County judge, in a ruling that should surprise no one, ruled that the 174-year-old law, which, at least on its face, certainly seems to outlaw abortion, doesn't mean what the plain language of the law says. And I think you can make an argument about whether or not, with everything that's happened over time, whether 174-year-old law should be controlling. But the judge ruled no, that even though this pretty clearly applies to, babies, the law doesn't mean what it says. So as a result of this decision, abortion is now not illegal in the state of Wisconsin. And of course, a number of the usual suspects are clapping and applauding. And this is great that women can go terminate pregnancies within the first 20 weeks and all. It's going to be appealed, but this ruling, even though it might be a flawed legal analysis, is going to be upheld because we have a very results-oriented court now who don't believe that the right to abortion should be limited in a material way. So that's what's going to end up happening. I guess on the one hand, the good news about this from a conservative perspective is, regardless of whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, one of the things is this now takes this issue off the table for politics. And there's no question that the abortion issue has hurt conservative candidates over the course of the last couple of years since Dobbs. So whether this decision is right or not, my guess is it's going to be upheld. My guess is that we're going to revert back to kind of the pre-Roe approach to this. And maybe the good news, like I say, is we're not going to be subjected to hours and hours and hours of this person wants to take away your right to terminate your pregnancy ads over the course of the next 9 or 10 months. And we'll have to go back to the other things about how these evil conservatives want to, end Social Security and put Granny out on an iceberg and float her out into the Arctic Sea. Back with more in just a minute. This is Jeff Wagner.
Don't go anywhere. Jeff Wagner is back right after this on WTMJ.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Our production department really kicked it into gear this season, and we finished before we thought we would. And we'd like to keep our people working until the snow flies, so we're going to offer a discount. Now, a lot of discounts you hear about, they're just off an already inflated rate that ends up right in the same slot as everybody else. In this case, because we're past our break-even point, we can offer a real discount. And here it is. We can afford to take 10% off your roofing project if you call and sign up before the end of the year. If we can't get to it because the weather turns south on us, we'll still hold your price for next year. And this isn't some fugazi discount. It's 10% off what our pricing would normally be. It's for roofs only, and it expires at the end of the year. So take advantage of a nice discount on top quality workmanship from good people who care. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here, and I've got something for all you guys who have not gotten your special someone a holiday gift yet. I'm betting that's a lot of you. Let me make it super easy for you. This Christmas, Pajamagram has your back with a deluxe gift set for her. One and done, luxurious present. This particular set includes the Smooth Seduction satin nightie and robe, plus a free satin eye mask, and it's all wrapped in an elegant satin keepsake bag. You heard that right. It's 4 gifts delivered right to your door, and it's ready to go under the tree. Silky, sensuous, glides over the skin, designed to make her feel amazing, and you'll like it too, you know what I mean? The Smooth Seduction Satin Gift Set is your ticket to a very nice winter season. Now don't wait. Get it before it sells out. You go to pajamagram.com today, and you get the Smooth Seduction Satin Nightie, robe, eye mask, and keepsake bag. That's the Smooth Seduction Satin Gift Set at Pajamagram. Plenty of other styles to choose from as well. Tell them Vince from WTMJ sent you to Pajamagram at pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands.
It's Macy's one-day sale tomorrow with great deals of the day on gifts we love, like 60 to 65% off warm and stylish coats for everyone, 35 to 70% off fine jewelry she'll adore, and 75% off holiday decor for a cozy, welcoming home. Best of all, everyone gets $10 Macy's money for every $50 spent. Learn more at Macys.com/Macy's money. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Welcome back to Jeff Wagner on WTMJ.
Okay, I was thinking during the break, my pending retirement ends one of our ongoing sort of disputes, because up until this year, I've been the spokesperson for Pajamagram. And, of course, the debate is always, okay, is it pajama or is it pajama? And, of course, Vince, who's now doing the ad, says it's pajama. My argument has been, well, I think you can say either way, but, to me, it's pajamas. You don't say Bahamas. You say Bahamas. You don't say Bahamas. But regardless, pajama, you say potato, I say potato. check out the pajama gram or whatever. But whenever those ads used to run, I'd always hear from people saying, "Don't you know it's pajama?" No, I say pajama. And if you don't like it, I say coyote instead of coyote too. It just depends on what part of the country you grew up in or where you learned the word from. When we come back, let's find out what we're going to learn from Greg Matzik and Amy Taylor on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Looking for a fun family activity to get in the holiday spirit?